welcome back. I
Good
can't
to
do
see,
this.
good to hear from you. Good to see you. Oh my God, you look so handsome. I
That's
mean,
Welcome,
how a try
welcome.
hard
seriously,
teacher sounds.
you look like so good. No, I don't know. I'm just trying to do like a try hard woman, I guess. Is that the new character, try hard woman?
I was going for a teacher that was trying to get their students to like him too much, but I ran out of material like half a sentence in. It wasn't well planned.
Did you
In any
guys ever
case,
see
hi
that?
everyone.
Hi, hi, hi. That reminds me, the teacher thing. Did you guys ever see a clip? It was I don't know where the school was, but it was all black students and the black teacher. This must have been like, I don't know, kindergarten or something. And she goes, "Quiet that." The parents are there. It's like a fucking welcome, whatever you call that, open house or whatever. And she goes, "Welcome students, welcome parents." And one of the kids, he goes, "Shut the fuck up!" And they all go,
Oh yeah,
"Oh, get
I
him out
saw
of
that.
here!" And then they carry him out. You did see that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
Jeez,
that
who
was
taught him that? Who taught him that?
that was me.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Well, we have me, Fred, and
Mhm.
I'm joined by Dan and Paul as always. Uh, I think everyone who listens to this should like, subscribe, and share our shit because
And comment. Don't forget to
yeah,
comment because I will respond to everyone for the
and
most
I
part.
will probably click like if I don't respond. But I think I think we've reached that stage in our podcast career where people should be following
Doing
us
stuff.
more. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
not
We should have more. We should have more followers. We should have more.
not like the weird stuff, but just like
that that reminds me of some other video I'd seen on Instagram. I don't think you guys have seen this, but there's this like guy, like bald guy with glasses, and he has a weird face. Like he has really big fish lips, and he's like he's
fish
talking to the
lips.
camera. He goes, "More girls follow me. More girls like me. More girls date me. More girls love me. More girls." Everything. He goes la la la. That's what it reminded me of. More of this, more of that.
I wonder how many women actually follow us.
Got hope.
So we got one.
I think, well, as far as I know, one, we haven't had any other reach outs or any reach arounds or whatever.
See what you did there.
No, yeah, I don't know. Chicks on this show?
Nah.
See, it's got followed by somebody named Shenkpa, but I think that's a band. Melodic brutal death metal from Pennsylvania. Okay. Oh, you know who?
Ladies, come on, come on. You know you want to.
Hilarious. You know, speaking of ladies and speaking of teachers, I actually went to Wells. I went to a few Wells Fargo today, because I have some stock bonds. Guess what stock bonds are? They're like I don't think anybody uses them anymore. They're like from the cowboy times or something, but my bank doesn't take them. So and they limit you. You can't get more than $1,000 per transaction from stock bonds. So I had like the five
Per
hundred
each
dollar
store.
ones.
So you had to like go to a different store.
Yes, yes, I can do one each at
Hmm.
Wells Fargo. So I went to one this morning, easy peasy. Went to another one, easy, and then the third one I went to, this lady, I don't know if she just didn't want to do her job, but she goes, "Oh, we don't do those," and I'm like, "Oh, this particular bank doesn't do those, or Wells Fargo doesn't do that," and she goes, "Oh, we don't do that." I go, I just did it twice." She goes, "When?" Like just before this. And she goes, "Will you have a seat? I have to make. I have to call a corporate. I'll make a. I have to find out." And she comes back, and she's like, you can't take out more than 1,000 per whatever. And I'm like, well, I already exceeded that amount. And she goes, yeah, but you told me about it, so I can't do it. And she goes, you can't just keep jumping from branch to branch and doing this. And I just fucking took my shit and I walked. It's like, well, most people I would think want to help you, but there is a type of worker that gets a real kick out of like saying no,
The
especially if
the
it's in the rules.
the power trip.
The power trip, yeah. And
Kind of sounds like
just
you're
to,
talking
Good.
to the
Good band, actually. Just
the
kidding.
maid from Family Guy. Remember her, Consuela?
no,
I'd like to cash
Consuela.
this. No, no. Can you get a manager? No, you leave.
Yeah, but I went to another one after that. I'm like, well, let's see if she didn't put out a hit on me. So I went to another one, went to another one, and I got, fuck, I did it. And I told the guy, I was like, oh, the lady I went to before, gosh, she was so rude. And it was like some gay dude. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you were nice. Don't worry about it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
We had
that was my morning.
we were trying to install a new tap, and at my wife's work, and we were. It has old lines, and the first tap we got didn't have the right connections, so we tried getting adapters, but it didn't work. So we got a new tap that had the
What's a tap?
a faucet.
Yeah, Josh's ears are picked up right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. When you said lines, I was thinking like I assumed you were talking about a faucet, and then you said lines, and I assumed you were talking about like internet something. Either way, go ahead. I'm confused.
Well, long story
Fred
short,
was laying
when we
down
got
some
the
pipe.
we kept connecting the new faucet to the supply hoses, and they kept leaking, and we couldn't figure out why. We called an emergency plumber and just be like, "Look, we need this to work by tomorrow because the weekend's over. We need to get this fixed." And he looks at it and goes, "Yeah, no, we can't do anything with this. It's not going to work." Like, that's it. He's like, "Nope, it's impossible. We can't do this." And he just left. I'm like, "That was the free estimate. What the fuck was that?" Long story short, the next day we got a couple of gaskets, put them into the supply hoses, and tightened them, and everything works fine. So that guy just did not want to work.
Work for me, bitch.
Useless piece of shit.
When, bitch. When you mentioned Consuela, it reminded me of something I was
Aw.
thinking about the other day too. Um, there was a channel on YouTube it's just called Joe, and this guy like makes animations. I don't know if you guys have ever seen his famous one was called the Dog of Wisdom, where it was like these computer animated dogs in the sky like riding on clouds. Did you ever see that? And he goes, "Ha ba ba, ha ba ga da ba, ha ba ga
No,
da ba ba." You know what I'm talking about, Paul?
no, I never seen
No,
that.
Oh,
no, I know.
you never
I
seen the
know.
Dog of
See.
Wisdom. Anyways, this guy Joe, he had another great video that was a parody of the Family Guy Simpsons crossover, and it's called the Family Simp.
Oh God.
And there's a part where like Peter walks into the house and Homer's sitting on the couch. And he goes, "Marge, who is this handsome man?" And Peter goes, "Right back at you, buddy." I just thought that was good.
That's fucking stupid.
But Fred, you did something metal related this week, right?
Oh yeah, Fred, you were really metal, and you got more metal stuff coming up. So let us know how metal you are, and then everyone can like eat dirt and eat piss and do whatever.
That felt really aggressive.
That's just how we do it here because we're metal. It's aggression, man. We got hairy arms, and I shave my beard, but I still look like a man, but like kind of like a comedian or actor or something.
Well, I can tell you about the show I went to, and that can flow into my collection update because obviously I picked up shit from the show. But Friday was I'm not going to pronounce this correctly because it's German, Nachlich album release show. And the bands opening for them were
Not glitch.
Conifer from Quebec. Conifer
Good
to
band.
lay people.
Yes.
Yeah, they're great. Vorlust, who I had never heard before, but were a lot of fun
Yeah,
actually.
me neither.
They're like a black metal kind of thrash Motorhead sort of deal.
Black
They're
metal
probably more
elitist.
death metal than they sounded at the time, but it felt very rock and rolly, the performance. Conifer's a project involving Conifer members, Vesperal, who are really cool too. And the opener was Chalice of Vomit. I saw them at the last show I went to for Nocturnal Departure, and they're good at what they do, but not really my thing. So I showed up after them.
Mm.
Um, but so obviously the highlights of the show were Conifer and Knocklich. Uh, Conifer, fantastic live, and it's funny like all these bands, wear capes and corpse paint and bullet belts and all that. These guys just came on stage in like long sleeves, jeans, and just you know dressed like a regular metalhead, just shirts and pants, and just put on a fucking awesome show. It was like really subtle and really like well done. So kudos to them. They didn't need to put on any theatrics to put on a good atmospheric show. Um, and Knocklich were like the opposite. They came out in like torn everything, corpse paint. They had a human skull, and it was like, and I guess this is a compliment, but the singer UK, I don't know how to pronounce it, but his performance was probably the closest thing I'll ever see to seeing Dead from Mayhem perform. Because he had like all this like ripped up denim that he was wearing, and he had a broken human skull on stage, and he would keep breathing out of the cranial cavity of the skull between verses or whatever, which felt very dead-like. So that was a very interesting performance, and it was very fucking good too. They're
Now, this is the same band we've been talking about before, right? Where they have that album cover, that infamous album cover.
well with the beer gut.
Yeah, the Beer Gut.
Indeed, it is. Um, Gotta say, the guys I saw on stage did not seem very beer gutty. So I don't know if that was an ex-member or something, but no, they all look pretty slim. So maybe maybe they got their shit under control. I don't know.
Is that the same guy from
But
the band Black Crud?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just looking him up right now. I'd never heard of that band, but that's a good name. It's spelled Kruud. Black Crude.
I think they're like more of a black noise kind of project, aren't they?
It says raw black metal, so yeah, I guess a
Okay.
noisy aspect could probably be thrown in there.
Yeah, I remember checking them out, and they were good, but not as good as some of his other projects.
Did you see
Um,
any old friends? Did you reacquaint yourself with anybody?
no, apparently there were a few people that I knew there, but I didn't actually see any of them while I was there, and the crowd wasn't um, the usual crowd I see at shows. So I don't know if this is a different like group of people that I don't know. No, it wasn't a crowd that with very many familiar faces in it. So kind of just hung out by myself and
Oh,
zoned out between sets because I was fucking tired. I've been up since like 4 that morning.
well, that sounds okay. Zoning out is better than like I don't know, walking around like a runboat or
Conversing,
something. Well, if
but
you're conversing with the right people, I suppose.
yeah, if it's the right people. Um, but yeah, no, that was a great show. They're playing again, Knocklich, on this coming Friday. They're opening for Spectral Voice, but I don't think I'm gonna go. I've seen Spectral Voice before. They were good, but I don't know if I need to go see them again. And I'd love to see Knocklich again, but
Fred,
I'd rather
support
see
your
them
scene,
headlining.
bro. Support your scene.
Yeah,
Go.
I know, but I'm old and tired, dude. Like, I can't do 2 shows in a week. Come on.
Well,
When
you
am
seem
I?
to have been
20?
going to a lot of different shows, like in the recent past. It seems like more than you were before.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, the pandemic kind of shut everything down for a while. I was probably going to, like, a couple shows, well, maybe like a show a month at that point. Um, but I mean, it's harder to get out with a kid. Like, it's always, 'cause then you have, like, the guilt of leaving your partner with all the responsibility.
The guilt. Yeah, I was I was just watching one of J Dog's videos earlier, and he was saying, I don't know if this
He has no
pertains to
guilt.
Fred, maybe it does, but he was saying like, uh, guys who go to shows and like for the social aspect, and then versus guys who maybe a little bit older, have kids, and don't really go to too many shows, but the guy who is like basically going home and like putting on his CDs or records pretty much every night, like drinking a little beer and enjoying himself, doing something like that just about every night. He goes, that guy is more metal, more elite than any of you could ever be.
That's why
The
Fred's our
guy who
metal
doesn't
lord.
need the guy who doesn't need the he doesn't need the attention. But we're doing the show, so I don't know.
That's a good
We're
point.
doing the show, but I mean, I don't know exactly how that works. Are
I'm
we?
not doing. I'm not doing a show. This is a cry for help.
This is a cry. I think this is a cry for help. Um, yeah, I went to a show too. I ended up going by myself to see Ascended Dead because that was
Oh,
who played.
badass.
Yeah, who played? It was, I don't know who the opener was. Ascended Dead, and then Oxygen Destroyer, and then I pronounce them Undergang. I know it's not pronounced that way, but I like to sing Undergang.
I'm talking.
Untergang. I'm not. Yeah, I think that's maybe how you say it. Um, but yeah, I knew my friend James was gonna be there because we were supposed to trade trade some stuff because this is the guy from Serenidus.
Serenidus.
Yeah,
He messaged me, asked me to listen to his demo because I didn't realize it was out, and it's fucking great.
Oh,
listen to
did you
my
add him?
demo.
Sorry,
Did he add him to the archives?
I think it was already there.
Was he?
No points for me.
Damn.
Yeah, I get there. I'm I have basically the remainder of the BBR catalog in my hand. I have like 5 CDs in my hand when I get there. Not I
Nice.
can't put in my pocket. I'm wearing basketball shorts, by the way. So I show up. I have all these CDs. I think I take a piss. I don't know why I'm going so fucking detailed here. There goes my mic. Um, yeah, take a piss. Grab a whiskey sour. I don't know why I've been on a whiskey sour kick. When I go out, I don't want to drink beer. I feel like I'd rather just get some whiskey. It's lighter, kind of fucks you up faster. There's not as much shit in your gut. So yeah, I'm standing
That's
there
how
for a
guts
couple.
work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm standing there for a couple minutes, and then show's over. I text James, go, where you at? Then he meets me outside. He gives me the Serenidus tape, and I hand him the fucking catalog. He goes, I gotta walk around with all these fucking CDs. I think he just shoves them in his jacket pocket or something like that. So I'm standing there with him, and golly, James is a real socialite. Everyone is coming up to him, congratulating him on the Serenidus release, and so some interesting people came up to him, and I got to talk to a few of these guys. What's his name? The drummer from Undergang. I got to talk to a little bit. Who is actually? It's like a different drummer now, and it's the guy from the main guy from Fetid, I believe, is the drummer for Undergang now.
Really? Aren't they American?
Undergang? No, they're from Denmark.
No, Fetid.
Yeah, Fetid is American. I don't know exactly how that works, but
Huh.
that's what was happening.
Cool.
Yeah, I got to talk to
Maybe
the guy from
maybe he just
Command
plays
a
live
little
or
bit.
something.
I think that might be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to talk to the guy from Command, who's actually a pretty one of the decent like newer death metal bands. That's Command with a K.
Hmm.
The guys with that bald singer. I think I was just talking to one of James's buddies, and he was like interested in the podcast or whatever. And some other dude, I think I ended up asking him like if he knew Transcendence, who I talked about before, who's going to be on the comp. And he goes, "Oh, dude, I used to be in that band." And we're talking for a little bit, and this whole time Oxygen Destroyer is playing, so we missed the entire Oxygen Destroyer set. But
Whoops.
I've seen him before. And then Ascended Dead starts playing, and I was like kind of in the middle of talking to this guy. I was like, "Oh, Ascended Dead's on. I gotta go." I really didn't mean to be rude.
Okay, bye.
But I really didn't mean to be rude. But it's like that's kind of why I was there. But yeah, there was yeah, Ascended Dead was really cool. They are like, I think all their influences are pretty standard, but the way they kind of mesh everything together is pretty cool, especially in the modern way. So I think they're like Necrovore influence and Morbid Angel and what's the other band? Morbid Angel, Necrovore, and Possessed. There you go. So I think that's their main influences, and they sort of take all that stuff and shove it into like a sort of technical output.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah, yeah.
On
Does that
on
sound
paper
right?
they're boring. In execution they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In execution, they are awesome. Um, yeah, it took a while for the pit to break out, but there were some pits there. I was holding on to my whiskey sour for a good amount of time, and then towards the end of the set, there might have been one or two songs left, and somebody shoved into me real hard, and my whiskey went plop to the floor. There went kerplunky.
How long were you nursing that whiskey sour?
I got it right when the set started, so probably about, I don't know, 25 minutes.
The story felt like it was a lot longer than that since you got the whiskey sour
It
at the
might have
beginning.
been. I don't know.
Did
If you
you
look
did you
at the
get more
group,
than one whiskey sour? We're gonna figure this out.
well, I think I got three in total. I wasn't there for very long.
Okay, okay. So it wasn't like just the one you got before when you got there, and then.
Oh no, 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 no. This would have
Okay,
been my
okay,
last one. This would have been my third one.
okay. We're all right then. I'll
Yes,
accept
yes,
this.
yes, yes. Yeah, I'm thinking, am I not drinking fast enough for Fred's standards?
Well,
I,
from your story, like you started where you get there and you order a whiskey sour, and then like later on during
no,
Ascended Dead, so
no,
like
I
how
kept,
long did
or
you
no,
have that fucking whiskey sour
no,
for?
no, I kept ordering whiskey sours.
All right, all right.
God, stop, stop judging the way I drink.
And drink shaming you.
Yeah, you're not drinking fast enough, retard. Puss cake. Okay, I sent you
Coming
guys a
from
video.
the guy who had nothing at the show he went to.
Who had nothing. What do you
I
mean?
didn't drink it. I didn't drink
Oh,
anything
you
at the
didn't.
show.
Oh, you didn't drink anything.
Although during Chalice of Vomit set, I went to the sandwich store next door and got like a beef marinara sandwich. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I don't know how you can stand being so badass like
Hey, it's a full time job, man.
that. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
You get
Um,
benefits from this.
yeah, I was telling Paul too. For whatever reason, when I was like watching the Ascended Dead set, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, you know, when I was younger, going to thrash shows, guys used to do this thing where they would like fucking put their arm over you and like headbang. They want you to headbang in unison as like bros. And I'm like, nobody does that anymore. And I was thinking about that. And maybe a song later, uh, two guys next to me, they started doing that. And then he grabbed me in. And then we were doing that. So wish come true. Just three dudes headbanging, three dudes doing it. No
Dang,
big
your
deal.
heart was on your sleeve right there. He saw it. He's like, "Let me grab you."
Yeah, he's like, come here, little brother. What is it now, little brother?
I'm gonna fulfill this guy's dreams today.
And yeah, so I sent you guys this clip that I saw from the show.
Oh yeah, that shit was
If
funny.
you see what it is, this is after the set, and I'm talking to this guy and I'm telling him how my whiskey went flying after I got shoved. And look at the way I'm talking. I look like some sort of strange Italian. I'm talking with my arms a lot. And then you can see I'm walking away with a cigarette like a
Yeah, you
badass.
popping the cigarette. That shit was so
Yeah.
funny.
Where did he get this video from?
I forget. I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah, this
You
looks
see
like
me there
AI
talking to big,
surveillance or something.
You see me talking to Big Brother? Look at my hands. I'm going, holy, wow. Just thought that was funny that you can see that. You need some visuals.
Yeah, I was trying to look for you, but then everyone's hair is looking purple and long.
Did
so I
you
was like,
not see me? I was like right up in the front.
No, after when you started zooming in.
I zoomed in when I walked away. I like put a cigarette in my mouth. I'm like, well, see you later. And then I end up talking to that crust punk who's at the dripping show. Crust punk with a dripping back patch.
I thought it was
And he
Demon
had
Seed.
oh, sorry.
Tell him to listen
Mr.
to the
Dripping.
Ramlord episode.
Yeah, I don't know about
I didn't.
that.
I didn't shill to that guy, but I should have. But that guy knew his shit. He had an Arizmenda hat, and he was talking about. I don't exactly remember what, but pretty fucking similar tastes and shit. He knows shit. And apparently, he's not even from here. He's from like Arizona or something.
Oh, poor
He just
guy.
happens to be at these LA shows. But speaking of that, Paul, I saw somebody today that knew you. His name is Josh, and he went to Cal High. He's a fat kid with glasses, like kind of hunched over a little bit.
Why does a fat kid come up in every single podcast we record?
Paul, think shaved head, Mexican guy, glasses, fat.
They're clear glasses, right? The frames. There's like not a frame, right?
Well, just regular glasses, I guess. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I think
Josh.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I recognize him. Like, hey, did you go to this school? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you know Paul and Daniel? He goes, yeah, I know them. So now I don't know if he wanted to know the podcast name, so I shilled that to him.
You showed it to the random guy.
What was that? It was at the liquor store. I don't know.
We could have we had a better time marketing it at the metal show, but at the liquor store, some random guy.
Yeah, well, I see we have one new subscriber, so that'll be him.
There you go.
Nice.
Thanks.
264 subscribers. Yeah, for all listening, for all who have stuck around, we want more. We want more from you people. Give us your money. Nah, don't give us your money.
More.
I don't want to link my money stuff.
And I need all the love that I can't get to. No one's a Sisters of Mercy. No one's a Sisters of Mercy fan. What am I even doing here?
I am a Sisters of Murphy fan.
Sisters of Murphy.
Sisters of Murphy. I do like Sisters of Mercy. What the hell song is that? I didn't recognize it.
It's More off of Vision Thing.
I don't remember More, but I remember Marianne. Do you remember that song?
Yes.
I hear you calling Marianne.
That voice.
Across the water, across the wind. I think even my dad liked that song, This Corrosion. Hey now, I'm thinking this corrosion to me. Then you got the chicks going, hey,
11-minute long song.
Now. Yeah.
Love it.
You know, I don't know if that makes me think of another song. I don't know if this is considered dark wave, but it feels sort of that way to me. Fred, are you familiar with a band called Wire Train? They had a song called Chamber of Hellos. Does that sound familiar?
Nope.
In the chamber of hellos, hello, 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 hello.
Nope, definitely not.
Check it out, it's a banger.
Huh. Did you ever hear the Vaughn side project 6 SIXX?
Yes. Yeah.
It's surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The guy who showed us Ramlord also showed me 6.
Well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
I guess we did get to do a little recap on the Ramlord episode last time. I forgot we did the Dismember episode. That one almost felt like a fever dream. It didn't feel real.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That was
They were all wasted
the
on that
goofiest one, huh?
Is it the goofiest? Why is it so goofy?
You'll find
What
out
makes
this
it
week.
goofier than the rest of the episodes?
I think just joking a lot, which is good.
Were we joking more on that one? You know what? I think the one that would have been the jokiest was what we lost of the Ramlord episode.
Damn it!
That was... There was
pod-
so much goofing off going there.
This whole podcast's a joke.
This is a joke. It honestly doesn't matter if this is a joke or not. There's still... We still have our network, man.
Yeah.
We have something.
That wasn't the only show you went to, though, right? Last week.
Who, me or Dan?
Dan.
Me? Did I go to another show?
Went to a comedy show.
Oh, Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fred, do you know who that is? Harlan Williams?
No.
That is the guy who was in Dumb and Dumber. He was the cop who drinks piss. Remember that?
No.
Where goes, you pumpkin pie haircutted freak, and he thinks they're drinking and driving, and he grabs the bottle.
Does he pull them over when they're driving the dog car?
Yeah, he's yelling out the window. He's going, pull over, and Jim Carrey goes, no, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
God, I read a stupid joke online of a guy's at a car dealership and he's looking at the salesperson. He goes, and they're looking at a car, and he goes, "Cargo space," and, and the guy goes, "No, car no do that. Cargo road." Boo. Sorry, I'm
Dum
done.
dum, you give me gum gum. Oh wait, I made that joke when Hope was here. I said the dum dum gum gum thing. Yeah, you don't remember that scene where the cop drinks the pee?
No, it's been so long since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, he drinks the pee and then he kind of like twitches his neck. He goes something like that. And, well, he's also the guy that Fred. Did you ever see There's Something About Mary? Cameron Diaz, Ben Stiller. Did you see
Yes,
that?
that I remember more vividly than Dumb and Dumber.
Okay, Ben Stiller picks up a hitchhiker, and it is Harlan Williams, the comedian. Um, I don't know if you remember that scene. He's talking about 7 minute abs. He goes, "I got this business idea, 7 minute abs." He goes, "What if somebody comes up?" He goes, "Somebody comes up with a 6 minute abs, you're in trouble." He goes, "No, not 6 minutes, 7 minute." He goes, "Seven dwarves." It's
I
like
remember
seven
that guy.
chipmunks swinging from a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's song? And then he ends up being like a murderer or something like that. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What else was he in?
Like,
I think Paul, you knew him from Half Baked, the guy who kills the horse by accident, the diabetic horse.
Yeah, and he was also in Superstar too.
Yeah, I don't really remember Superstar. I know some people know him from the movie Rocket Man from '97, but I that's not one I'm familiar with either.
Yeah, me either. But yeah, he was actually funny for the comedian actors that we've been seeing. Uh, what, like last year we started going?
Damn microphone keeps slipping off. Yeah, you know, I have like I have this weird thing about stand-up comedy where I really kind of don't like stand-up comedy very much. It's like very rare for me to I just don't. I just don't care for it. It feels like it's too hard for people to get up and just kind of be funny when you're expecting them to be funny. But yeah, this dude was actually really fucking funny. One of the first things he said, he's like, "Oh, I'm feeling tired today." He's like, I feel glazed over like a Christmas ham." For whatever reason, I thought that was so funny. And all he did was like crowd work, just asking people
Yeah,
what they do and stuff.
he had like 20 minutes on each end, the beginning and the end of like actual material, and the whole middle half was, or the whole middle piece was just crowd work.
He
That was funny.
insulted some lady. He called some lady a retard.
Yeah,
That was funny. And he asked some girl, he goes, "What do you do, my love?" He kept saying, "My love." And she's like, "I'm a hostess." He goes, "Oh yeah, Twinkie or Ding Dong?"
that's
Yeah,
rude.
somehow this guy made me laugh. Stand up, yeah, stand up. It almost feels like it's too. You can't do it now. There's too many rules within social parameters, maybe, where to a point where it's almost impossible to be funny. But he fucking did it. He was starting to go off about like white privilege, and at some point, I was thinking like, okay, where's he going with this? And he starts the joke off by saying like, "I was in the airport and this couple was behind me making a big deal thinking I cut the line." He goes, "I'm not going to say what ethnicity they were," but he says to me, he goes, "Hey Holmes, you cut me, fool." He's like, "Again, I'm not going to say what ethnicity they were." He's like, making it obvious. And he says something about he goes, "I heard about this thing, white privilege." He goes, "Okay, so I asked the guy to take my bags for me because if I have white privilege, I'm going to use it." I mean, that's one way to turn it around. That's sort of funny.
yeah, it was actually a good show compared to Jamie Kennedy, and you saw like the ant from fucking Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and I can't
Well,
imagine those being funny at all.
that was all female comedy.
And then
If you can
also
if you can imagine that being funny, I don't know.
like Pauly Shore's part of that gang too, where it's just like these people just talk about like the movies or the kind of like TV shows that they appear in, and they're like, "Remember that joke I did in there?" And then it's like
Yeah,
not even about like
remember this, remember that. Yeah, Harlan Williams did not say
a word about his movies. You
he
wouldn't
didn't
even
say
know.
anything about anything that he'd been in. We waited in line because Paul wanted to get a picture with him, and he said, "No pictures. If I give pictures to you, everyone's gonna get a picture or whatever." And our friend Little Vince, who went with us, we've brought him up before. Um, he had the balls. I was surprised about this. Right when we get to the front of the line, he goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, that noise you made when you drank the pee in Dumb and Dumber." He goes, "Was that real, or did they superimpose that?" He goes, "No." And he actually like twitched his neck and he did the noise. He's like, he did it for him. I was surprised about that. And
Rob got
our
a
friend,
funny video.
yeah, we were there with our friend Rob, and I don't know what the deal with this was. I didn't hear about this till after because I had walked out after I heard, "Oh, no pictures." I'm like, okay, I'm not buying a T-shirt. I'm just gonna go wait outside. And so I meet Robert outside, and he goes, "Oh man, I froze up." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Harlan asked me, or he told me, he goes, he liked my sweatshirt because he has this big, fluffy, like orange Nickelodeon sweatshirt." And apparently, I don't know if you've heard about this, Fred, but there's a documentary that came out about like sexual abuse and all these like inappropriate things that were happening on the set of like a bunch of Nickelodeon shows. So that's like
I've heard of
a
the
thing
documentary.
now,
I
and
haven't seen it.
apparently everyone's been giving my friend shit about his jacket and calling him a pedophile and things like that. But Harlan Williams is like, he's like, "Hey, keep
That's-
rocking the sweatshirt. Don't let anybody tell you nothing." And Robert pulls out his phone. He goes, "Hey, can you say that one more time?" And so he made him repeat himself. And he did. But when Robert said that, it confused him so much that he just like made this stunned face. And I can send that to you guys right now, Fred. So you can see the face he made when he when he was asked if he can say that again.
I'm watching it right now. I took my own little recording of it.
And the video was so confusing. The video was so confusing that like Robert just put music over it because he didn't want them to hear like how awkward it was. How awkward you are in front of a celebrity.
that is quite the face he's pulling.
Yeah, it is, right? Like, huh? Yeah, but on the way there too, like little Vince doesn't drive, so he's sitting passenger seat, and he's doing this thing that my mom does that is so annoying. He's like pointing where the exits are. He's like, "Ah, go over there, over there." He goes, "Oh, you missed the exit." It's like, dude, you don't. It's like, what? It's just so funny that he's like barking out orders and being like, "Oh, you missed it." It's like, what are you freaking out for, dude? You ain't driving.
Yeah, that was funny. He's like, "Oh," when you like miss the.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Well, I think a long time ago, Vince rode with Trevor, and Vince was like, we were going through Turnbull Canyon, which is like a big downhill kind of
Slow the fuck
looping
down.
thing. Yeah, and he's like, "Slow down, slow down. Wait, stop, slow down." Trevor's like, "Never again, Vince. You're not ever driving with me again."
Vocalizing his fucking anxiety.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
And I think that same night I had released the Ram Lord episode, and the black metal guy referred to us as something that I take as I took as a compliment, a nice compliment. He said we're the Joe Rogan of extreme metal podcasts. I kind of like that. That's cool. I'm not a huge Joe Rogan fan, but or at least I've never really listened to his stuff. But I know he did. I know he listens to his stuff, so that means something, I think. Paul, did you see Tom Segura? Is that what it was?
no, I went to a Kill Tony show with Josh and
Kill
Julian.
Tony. Fred, do you know what Kill Tony is?
No, I really don't.
All right, Paul, you're gonna have to really break it down and get to the nitty gritty here.
All right,
Hey,
so
hey, kill Tony.
it's a show that's a live podcast that's been going on for 10 years. There's two hosts, Tony and this guy Red Band, who was the old Jamie, basically, for the Joe Rogan podcast.
I thought it was just gonna be an episode of The Sopranos.
And then there's two random guests, so like Harlan Williams was one, and assortment of people. And
You saw him again?
no, so I saw this guy named Adam Ray dressed up as Dr. Phil, as a like character.
You know what? That's weird. I think Vince actually showed me a picture of that today.
Mm.
Yeah, he did. Vince showed me a video of this today. He goes, "Look, just Dr. Phil." I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, but okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
he kind of
it
took
was brought
the.
up to my attention today.
Yeah, he was apparently the winner of like the 2023 Guest of the Year. Um, so he came for this arena show, and
Oh yeah.
they just have like a bucket with like a bunch of names of comedians that will come up, or just random people who signed up, and they'll have like regulars, so people who come like every week and perform a minute of stand up, and then you get these random people that were pulled from a bucket, and then after every minute of comedy that each comedian does, they interview them and like kind of roast them and shit. So it's definitely one of a kind of a show.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I didn't realize Josh and Julian were so into it. Like Josh, or no, Julian in particular, like he knew like all the people that were coming up, and I was like telling Josh, he's like, "Who's that?" I was like, "Bro, how do you not know?" And then, but yeah, it was a good seating. We were like on a riser on the floor of the Kia Forum, so we were able to see the stage without like anyone, ahead of us. And then, yeah, it was like 2-3 hours long. There was a band that played, for like an hour as we were sitting there, and we park when we arrive, and then we're just like going through these lines, and we just had to piss so bad. And so we had to we were like, oh fuck, it looks like everyone's lining up to go inside, and then like I spot one that's like downstairs and shit, like underground, and we're all just like going, and we're like, all right, man, we can actually just chill. And then Julian dropped like $100 on 3 drinks for us. But the show was great.
Golly gee.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And then the crowd there particularly was like just booing everyone. Like it was crazy. It was like the most negative crowd I've been a part of. Like usually like everyone in the crowd, because it's a live show, you can hear them. They're all like cheering and don't really boo too often. But this whole show was like everyone was getting booed. Like it was crazy.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. I've never been to a stand up where there's been a lot of booing.
Yeah, it was like a whole, like, it's not necessarily hecklers, like you let them do their minute, and then if they suck, or like during the interview they say something that's like, oh, that's lame, then you just like boo the fuck out of them until they get off stage. And he's like, and then the guy Tony's like, oh, let me save you some embarrassment, you just go before you dig yourself in a deeper hole.
Remember The Simpsons? Why would they come just to boo us?
That's actually not such a bad idea. I've only seen like one episode of that show.
No, they're all
Or,
different. Like you have to catch a good one to get into it, and then you just kind of
Yeah,
watch.
But it seems like there is a lot of booing and there is a lot of criticism of on funny comedians, and that is kind of fun. I think
Yeah,
I'd like to be a part of the booing.
yeah. There's some low hanging fruit jokes that they make when there isn't actually anything to critique. They bring people up to. They're like, oh, you can have a show, or you can open for a show of mine, or later this week you can do another show, or they can become part of the regular show basically. And they have golden ticket winners who are all like disabled people basically. Like there's like a mute guy from Canada.
Mute guy, all right.
Yeah, and he just has his phone type out a voice into a speaker, and it goes into the mic, and that's how you hear his comedy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
The only thing that I
I
think
can
I've
see that
been
really
a part
working,
of
actually.
Yeah, it's good.
work. Yeah, dude, the only thing I think I've been a part of where it was like a major booing moment was like back in high school. I don't know why I went to this, but I went to a different school to watch our school play a basketball game, and I don't know why this turned into like such a fucking thing, but it did. And that people were wearing like these T-shirts that were like dissing the other school, and I remember going, and yeah, everyone's booing the fucking opposite team, and this kid that I knew from middle school, he was a black kid, And I don't know if this is a racial thing, but like everybody started making monkey sounds every time he got the ball. They went,
Fuck.
and then I think everyone started chanting bullshit for some reason. And there was like some guy crowd surfing, and he got kicked out by security. But that was like the one time that I felt school spirit was during the big like negative moment.
When you're trying to stomp theirs.
Yeah, stomp him.
Yeah, that's how it felt, and it was fun being with Julian. Haven't hung out with him in a while. He didn't have he did have his sandals, but he didn't have that smile on his face that you said looks like womanly.
A womanly smile.
I
I don't know who said that. Somebody, I think it might have been Trevor. He's like, look at Julian sitting there with that womanly smile.
No, he was having a good time. It was fun.
He didn't have a bike ride the next day. I'm sure he did.
So I'm sure he did. It was oh no, that was Friday, but it was funny. There was like in our section, there was like a whole group of like this guy that Josh knew. I guess he invited like a whole bunch of people from his work, or like some family or friends or whatever. But it was like one guy that just started there, and then Josh was like the whole time he's like, dude, I'm fucking tripping. Like, I swore I got this fool into that shit. Like, kill Tony. And he was like, he's like, what the fuck is he doing here, bro? Like, I just got him into this shit this week.
So Josh is amping himself up.
Yeah, he's like, bro, like, he's got a fucking gatekeep it.
Yeah, gatekeeping. I don't know.
Yeah, the number one podcast, live podcast in the world.
Yeah, gatekeep the number one there.
But yeah, that was just funny. He was just, whenever we had like a quiet moment, he'd be like, dude, I'm still tripping on that.
Josh does trip on things like that, and it's like things that no one gives a shit about.
Was
like, what?
There's also like what did we were at the bar and we're getting Mexican mules, so tequila and ginger beer, and then for some reason when we go back the second time, this guy gives us the whiskey and ginger beer, and Josh takes one sip. He's like, what the fuck? And then we go back, and he's like, because I ordered the first round of the Mexican mules, and then the guy was like pointing at me and saying like, no, you ordered the Jameson and ginger beer, so like, what are you talking about? And yeah, then Josh just had the, get the right taste in his mouth, so we got the other ones.
Sick boy.
Yeah. It was fun though. We'll do it again.
Say, what's his name? Bestial Conclave commented on the Ram Lord episode, and he asked if we had heard the second Torture album and also the Lunatic Invasion album. And I got to listening to both of those today while I was doing my Wells Fargo runs. Lunatic Invasion, dude. Do you guys remember that band? Fred, do you remember that?
No.
Think so.
It's a 1995 death metal album, but man, is it
like
fucking...
German or something?
Yeah, they're German.
Yeah, and it's like some dude and his wife. Like, let me see.
I don't think so. I think it's a full band.
No, I think it's another band I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Lunatic Invasion is really fucking cool. It's like it's totally all over the place with influences, and apparently it's like a bunch of grindcore guys wearing like fucking Blood t-shirt and a Gothicles and shit like that. But I don't know. It somehow comes out sounding fucking like Sinister or something, like the band Sinister, not Sinister the sound. But yeah, dude, Lunatic Invasion is pretty awesome. The second album, the Totentanz from 1995, that's pretty badass.
No, I'll check that out.
I didn't get to mention the
looking at the album cover. I recognize this. I know I've seen it before, but I don't remember what it sounds like.
Yeah, I recognize it too, and I assumed it would be some like Death Doom thing, like While Heaven Wept, but it's actually
it does look like that.
It's actually far more badass than it would appear to be.
And what was the other one?
Oh, the second Torture album is the other one that he mentioned. That one's pretty cool. It's like it's really thrashy, but then blast beats come out of nowhere, and it kind of reminds me of I keep bringing up Hexen, but there are parts that sound like Hexen, which is like a little bit technical thrash, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that band I confused Lunatic Invasion for. It was like some dude and his wife that ended up just like making the music afterward. And they're
Uh,
German.
are you thinking of Rune Magic, maybe?
No, no, no,
No, no, no.
no, no,
Are you thinking of Lucifugum?
no.
I got nothing for you then.
I'll
I don't
keep
think I
looking.
got to. I don't think I got to bring up on this show the movie The Greasy Strangler. I haven't brought up that, have I?
I don't think so.
You have not.
No, Fred. Do you know what that is? The Greasy Strangler.
I do not.
If you Google it, it'll show some images, and it's a lot of fun. It
Wow,
feels like
that's some eye popping.
yeah. He pops that guy's eyeballs out. It
By the
feels like a
throat.
really long. It feels like a long Tim and Eric sketch, and it's like a father and son who are like going after the same woman, and then at the same time, the dad is this guy who covers himself in grease and he kills people, and he keeps accusing everyone of. He goes, are you saying I'm the greasy strangler? And like it's not brought up ever, besides him saying that he's the greasy strangler.
I
And
feel
he
like
keeps
that'd be
wanting
really
grease on all
hard.
his food.
'Cause,
There was
like,
a
if you're all
great line.
greasy and you're strangling people. What is all slippery and shit?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was a great line in there where he's buying a hot dog, and he's telling the guy, he's like, no, this isn't right. There's no grease. I need it to, I need the grease to go into my throat or something like that. And he's like, sir, it's against regulation. I could lose my license. And he takes the hot dog and he dunks it in this vat of grease. And his line, he goes, "This dog is fully dunked." I would recommend it. It seems like the kind of movie that's like hipsters would love, and that's what it is. But it's actually funny, and sometimes hipsters, if hipsters know anything, it's probably like a strange comedy. So I'll give them that.
If they know anything.
If it is they,
It's
yeah,
a big
in
if.
fact, yeah, and it feels like hipsters, feels like that died a long time ago, didn't it? You don't really see people doing the Williamsburg look anymore, the West Hollywood look.
Maybe it's for the best. But Roger
Yeah,
Corman
now
passed
we
away
just
this
have
week. And
now we have something like the black metal Zoomers who are dressing in sort of new metal garb, like Jinko jeans and nail nail polish and eyeliner and things like that.
that's not right.
But then again, I mean, I don't exactly know where that stands either. You still do see guys going to shows wearing corpse paint, and they're not in a band.
Yeah. That happened at the Cannibal Corpse show. And yeah, those idiots were eating fries next to me. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Wearing corpse paint, eating fries. And then they left before Mayhem. What the hell is that?
Idiot.
No, but back to movies. Roger Corman died this week, and that sucks because he was involved in a lot of movies I like.
Oh, right.
Forbidden World, Galaxy of Terror, Battle Beyond the Stars. Just really
Silence of the Lambs.
really corny shit. Yeah, he was involved in that to some degree. I don't know what exactly.
Hey, I
his
recognize one of
involvement
his
was,
movies from 1967. It's called The Trip. You ever see that?
but I have not. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
You have heard of it. I actually bought that. Let's see. I saw that movie on TV randomly. It seems like you don't really see that anymore because maybe TV. Nobody cares about TV anymore. I guess we don't need cable. Everybody just kind of, uses streaming services and things. But this movie, The Trip, I bought a DVD that was a double feature. It was The Trip, and it was a movie called Psych Out, which is like a very early Jack Nicholson film where he's like, I think he's dating a blind woman or something like that. It's a hippie drug movie. But I think what The Trip was is this dude. Oh, you know who it is? The Trip is Peter Fonda from that. I can't even remember what that movie's called. The one where he's like riding a motorcycle and shit. What the hell is that movie called?
Mad Max.
The no, not Mad Max. The fucking the one where he's like, oh, Easy Rider. That's the one it is. They just want to be free and ride their bikes.
I want to break free. Sorry.
Yeah, but the trip is mainly like it's just some dude who goes on an acid trip and he kind of walks around the city. That's pretty much it. There's not really like it's not really like, oh, he's in his own fantasy world. It kind of just shows what everyone else is seeing, and this guy kind of just like acting trippy. it's
All right
it's
then.
fun enough.
It's just fun enough. Not too fun. Not under fun. Just fun enough.
Well, it's been quite a while since I've seen that one. I'm curious to what else Roger Corman has produced here.
Oh, he's got a shit ton.
Let's see. Oh, Little Shop of Horrors. I've never seen the original, but I did see the one with Rick Moranis and the singing plant. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
He did Sharktopus in 2010. I haven't seen that. I've never seen this Death Race 2000. I've heard about it forever, but I
Oh
haven't
yeah,
seen
that's a
it.
fun movie.
That's badass. Oh, I did
Yeah.
watch that A la Carta movie that
Oh,
you
what'd you think?
recommended. Yeah, it was actually kind of scary in a religious standpoint because I am myself religious in well, Catholic, so it was particularly scary. But
It
you
had
were
some
right.
blaspheming in there.
It had some blaspheming in it. But you were right, Fred. There was a lot of screaming in that movie.
Right? It's just so much fucking screaming. It's great.
It you know, it's what, from 1977. It's a Mexican film, so you
Yep.
don't really get a lot of special effects. You mostly just get like blood and screaming. That's what you get.
Pretty much, yeah.
What
Well,
else
I
do you
mean,
need?
what more do you want?
Not much. I actually liked it. Usually, I fall asleep to certain movies like that, just because. I mean, maybe you get that, or maybe you
Yeah.
don't. But yeah, that one was actually quite cool. And he did Chopping Mall, which I've never seen, but I have heard of that movie too.
Oh, Chopping Mall is awesome. That's one of my favorites. I'm gonna have to go on a spree. I really want to rewatch Galaxy of Terror. It's been a while since I've seen that. It's actually a pretty cool movie where I forget why they go to this alien planet or structure, but essentially whatever they are thinking of as their greatest fear is what winds up happening and killing them. It's pretty cool.
Again, heard of that, and you know what, dude? I just looked up the official trailer, and it's already in my liked videos. That means I was supposed to watch this at some point, but I never watched Galaxy of Terror.
It's awesome. The other good one is Forbidden World, and it's a straight up rip off of Alien, and it's great. And
I
you'll
think
see the
that, yeah, that'd be a
poster
pretty
where
good.
there's this like bug-like winged creature that's like glowing with like red lava sort of thing. That doesn't even come close to happening in the movie. The monster doesn't look like that. There's no scene even similar to this in the movie. It's just totally nothing to do with anything.
Hmm. Yeah, this does
And that's
look
the
cool.
best kind of
It's a
movie
good year.
poster where you watch the movie and you're like, wait, what the fuck was that poster about?
Well, it seemed like the older horror movies, they always tried to make yeah, the posters look much cooler than what actually happens in the movie sometimes.
Yeah. All the special effects budget went into making the poster.
I was just watching I don't know why I've been on a little bit of a Howard Stern kick since we've been talking about that a little bit on the show. I was just watching a sort of interesting one where it was one I haven't seen before actually. It was called Homeless Jeopardy, and they get three black guys off the street, three homeless guys to play Jeopardy and win some money. And it's surprising what these guys didn't know. One of the questions was something like, "Who was the first president of the United States?" Nobody knew that one. Uh, the swastika was the symbol of what political party? Nobody knew that one. The, but it was
The
kind of
Buddhists.
surprising. The Buddhists. That's true. Are Buddhists a political party? Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. I'm not sure. Let's see. What else do we have here? I think that's it. I think that's it for me. I think I'm out of life.
Out of material.
I'm out of material, I think. I didn't actually write anything down today. Hey, and that wasn't so bad. We got like an hour in without getting stumped.
It's been
I've got a minor collection update.
Oh,
Uh, Obviously from the show, I picked up some shit there. So the new Knocklich album, Exaltation of Evil, and it's cool. It's only out on cassette so far, and the cassettes at that show are red instead of the regular clear cassettes for the album release shows. So I think there's only like 50 of those, which is pretty cool. The new Conifer album, L'Impôt du Son, and I got their demo on vinyl, which is pretty cool. That's a really good demo. Noblesse DP. And a small mail haul. Wind of the Black Mountains, Black Sun Shall Rise, Juvenes, Riddle of Steel, and Lord Wind, Heralds of Fight on CD. All those three. Which is a pretty good haul as far as I'm concerned.
Wind of the Black Mountains. They have a few like interview clips and like clips of them kind of just hanging out. They're really goofy. Have you ever seen any of those?
I haven't seen them, no.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
you showed me where they're just like on the street with like corpse paint and shit.
yeah, they're out in the street in Corpus. He's like, oh, look at those guys. They're really freaked out by us, man. It's like one of these young metalhead ideas where it's like, yeah, they're freaked out by us, man. That's pretty badass, I think.
But they are related to the band we'll be discussing tonight, whenever we get around to that.
Ooh. Oh, you know what I've been listening to lately? The black metal guy actually has gotten me to listen to pretty like the early Dead Can Dance discography.
Oh yeah.
And that's always a band that's been like hard for me to get into because they're really not conventional, are they? They feel very ambient in what they do.
Yeah.
But I think it's good stuff. My favorite was probably the can't remember the name. Spleen. What is it called? Spleen and something. The one where the
I
dude's
don't
like,
know
"Oh, the big star."
I don't know their album names very well, so
Spleen and Ideal. I think that was probably my favorite. And the first one was quite good too. The
huh.
one with the mask on it. The one that sort of
What's the
looked
one
like
with like the picture of the tomb and the stone carving of a hand reaching into it? Or a
I don't know. I don't think I got to that one. I got to the
Within the realm of the Dying Sun.
maybe? I don't actually know the name of it.
I
So.
like the Serpent's Egg. It's like some world music shit.
yeah, I didn't really care for Serpent's Egg. It's a little too yeah, like you said, world music. Didn't really like that one. The first album is pretty good. Aeon from 1990, that's good. And Spleen and Ideal, those I like. I didn't check out Within the Realm of a Dying Sun. That's the one I think Fred's talking about.
Yeah,
Where,
that
yeah,
one's
the-
good too.
into the- into
It's
the
definitely a
cat-
band
the,
I need to spend more
mausoleum.
time with.
Yeah, yeah. But oh, something else I forgot that happened when I went over to Miguel's. So Trevor had his kid there, and my friend's kids are about your kids' age, so about 2 going on 3, and
Right.
they have this little, those little Jeeps that they drive around in. They fucking roam around the backyard.
Yes.
They have like no room in their backyard. So Miguel's kid is in the driver's seat, and Trevor's kid is crying, and he doesn't want to get in the car with her, but he puts him in there, and she goes, and they like crash into the trailer, and and it was really funny. And then they move them, and they go again. They crash into the back steps. I just thought it was funny. Every time the adults move, then the girl just crashes. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Now I'm like curious about just picking up some Dead Can Dance shit because I feel like this is a band I'd really get into. I just need to actually take the dive.
You know what I need to take a dive into? I think I need to listen to a bunch of like Norwegian black metal that I haven't heard before or haven't spent a whole lot of time with, because I think there's like a decent amount of stuff that I just haven't heard.
Like,
Like
do you
what the
know
fuck?
band
Like what the
names
fuck
or
is? Yeah, like stigma diabolicum. I don't know what that is, or
it's
I don't. I
pre-Thorn
don't think.
stuff?
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Let's see what else is on my list here. Enthroned. Don't think I've heard that.
and
1991.
Throne, that's pre-Carpathian Forest, I think, if I
Yeah,
remember
I don't think I've
correctly.
heard that. I don't know if I've heard Arcturus, My Angel. So that's on my list to check out.
That's much more
Um,
death metal. It's weird.
okay,
Like
I'm looking forward to that.
if you've heard Aspera, My Angel sounds nothing like it.
I've heard
It's
I've
almost
heard
closer
Arcturus'
to
stuff that sounds like circusy.
yeah, no, My Angel is mm, closer to um Mortem, Slow Death.
Yes.
Sounds closer to that than
Oh yeah, I
anything
forgot about
Arcturus did
Slow
after
Death.
that.
Yeah, let's see what else do I have here. I don't know what this is. Malfeitor from
That is
1992.
pre-Strid.
Strid. I don't know. Oh, that's on my list too. I've never listened to Strid. I don't think. Am I just like a total
They're
jackass?
I mean, they didn't have a lot of stuff to listen to. I think Strid came out with they had the one demo which had one track, and then the EP that had like two or three tracks on it. So it's not a big discography. Um, and they kind of like uh, pioneered that more depressive black metal sound, like kind of like Burzum in a way, but a bit more hopeless. But no, Malfader came before Strid, and that was a bit more straightforward black metal. But it's early though. They had demos back in like 91, 91, 92.
But next week, Dan's gonna be dressed up all in corpse paint for the next recording sesh.
I'll send a
What
pic.
Yeah, will be the
what else on
thumbnail.
that list? I love my Norwegian black metal.
Um, I know we've talked about Iljarn a lot on this show, but I still haven't really
Mm.
taken the time on my own to listen to them. So I have
Oh yeah.
Unknown Truths from 1992, Iljarn,
Oh yeah.
and then I also have
The one I would
Beelzebub.
recommend for Iljarn is Forest Poetry. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the black metal guy talk about that one. I think Jubb probably talked about that one when we had him on too. Yeah, Beelzebub Apotheosis from '92. I don't know what that is.
That is pre Einherjar. It's a very good demo. But I think
Einherjar?
they got yeah the one that recorded Aurora Borealis demo and then Dragons of the North, more Viking kind of stuff.
What about Satyricon All Evil? Is that a demo or something?
Yeah, that's a demo that came before Force is My Throne, and I think it's a bit more death metal sounding, as
Really?
most of the earliest Norwegian black metal demos were. Right? I mean,
Yeah, that sort of
when you
reminds
think
me
of
of
all where all they came from, like Old Funeral, Molested, and Amputation, like they all came from death metal roots. So it's not surprising there was like a slow conversion, and some of those earlier demos sounded more death metal than black metal. Thou
oh
Shalt Suffer
golly
is like the best
molested.
example.
That's too good of death metal. That's almost insane that somebody wrote something like that. Again, we're
Hmm.
lucky to have that album. Let's see.
There's
What the hell is Sabazios? I don't know what that is either. Winter Mass, 1992.
that is Mysticum.
Oh, when you were saying that some of the Norwegian bands sounded like death metal before they got into black metal shit, that reminds me of
Mm,
God, what's the name of that band? Beyond Dawn, I think. Do you remember them?
I think so. I can picture their logo, but they were more like doom metal, weren't they?
They start off as kind of sounding like Death Crush to me, and then they kind of make the journey into sounding like fucking Paradise Lost and stuff like that, and then eventually I think they start to go into like electronic music.
Mm. Yeah, I remember that they veered off in like weird directions, but I don't remember too much of the more metal stuff, to be honest. It's not a band I dove into very much. But it's true though. There's so many
I also have
Norwegian black metal
Icewind,
bands
called
from
the
the
Icewind,
classic era that
1992.
aren't really. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, like Icewind.
So
I don't
it's
know what that is
obviously the
either.
band that became
1992.
Isvind.
Isvind?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, they
see.
became Isvind. They changed the name to that.
Manes, 1993. Manes not. Don't know what that is either.
Uh, yeah, no, you will know who they are. They
I will.
yeah, because they wound up recording that album under I'm Blood. It translates to under a Blood Red Moon, but in Norwegian under Ein Blond Blood Ron Mon. Um, yeah. Anyways, they you'll recognize it when you see it. Like this isn't. It won't be.
It's Ved Buenos Ende.
Oh, they're good. Yeah.
No, that's a different Manus. There were two Manus from
Oh,
Norway.
son of a bitch. Let's see. Oh, you're right. There's two from Norway.
Yep.
Let's see. Which is the album that you said I'd recognize?
Under the first one from like the late
Golly,
90s.
I don't recognize this.
Really?
Hammerheart 1999. No, I'm afraid I don't know what this is. It doesn't
So
even look familiar to me.
it's a cool album, but it does have drum machines that take a bit of getting used to. Um, I think the demos are better,
The
and
demo
I
looks cooler, and I've never seen this around online, like people
really
talking
okay.
about it. Really? No, not really. I don't think so.
Well, you'll dig it. You will dig
All
it.
right. Yeah. Let's see. Who the fuck is Grim with two M's?
That is also related to Carpathian Forest. They released
Grim.
one demo, I think.
Okay. Let's see. Nordisk Vinter. Yeah, so I have that. Whoever Mock is, band called Thule, and then there's
Mock
Strid.
is
Uh,
pre Campfire.
oh, I like
And
Campfire.
Thule is pre Take.
Oh, I I could have sworn I know Take. That's oh, let me see if I recognize this picture. No, God, was it Fred? You'll probably know what this is. I'm gonna describe a fucking promo pic. He corpse paint, and he's got a fucking like pitchfork. What band is that? Where he's got the pitchfork.
Whoa.
I could have sworn it was Take. Like a farmer's pitchfork that you use for the hay.
Not off the top of my head. Right now, the only one I can think of with a pitchfork is Baphomet.
I'm thinking it might be that maybe Borknagger.
I've always called them Borknagar, but I don't know if that's right or not. But I don't think
'Cause
there's
I'm
a
a
promo shot
Borknagar.
of Borknagar with. I keep thinking Windeer because I know there's a photo of him like in a or near a barn with a tractor in the background, but that I can't think of a pitchfork on there.
The barn.
Nope,
Let's
that's
see what
not coming to me.
Bestial Conclave says. He says, truly a loss, as great as Armored Angels Green Brothers lineup album remaining unfinished. I heard you guys repping Torture, or maybe he's talking about. Oh, he says episode 54. Truly a loss. He says the essence is a real gloomy album. The aggression is heightened prior to the debut. Also, brooding atmosphere in the lyrics. You won't find many exclamation marks in the lyric of the essence. Wandering and despondency over death has taken its place. It makes the outro tribute all the more. He's talking about Torture.
Well, do you want some more Norwegian bands to add to that list?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this had really limited output, but Dim Nagel, D-I-M,
Dim Nagel.
and then, yeah, and second word is Nagel. The Satanic Overdose demo is instrumental, but it's cool. I think there's a couple tracks with vocals. I think it's like 2 tracks that have vocals, and the rest are instrumental, but they're pretty cool. Um, so a couple albums that came out on Avant-Garde that don't tend to get much recognition, but Abysmal, that is kind of a Black Doom sort of deal. The Pillorian Age, really good album. And the other one is Carpathian Full Moon, which is a bit more progressive for Norwegian black metal. But Serenades in Blood Miner is a excellent album.
Did you say
It doesn't
Carpathian
sound
Moon?
Carpathian Full Moon.
Carpathian Full Moon. I feel like I've heard of them. I've heard of them, but I don't recognize their shit.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Is this like truly your thing? Is the Norwegian black metal your thing?
I don't know if I call it my thing, but when
It
I
is your
started getting
thing.
into
The
What
man
is
black
your,
showed
metal,
like,
us
big thing?
Incarnator, bro.
He did show us
Incarnator is amazing, and Astaroth. That's a cool one.
It's one of his many things.
But it's the first place I landed in black metal, so it's one of the scenes I explored the most. And yeah, I mean, I guess it sounds very typical to say I love Norwegian black metal, but I really do. It's where I started, so it's hard to pull myself away from the first impact that it had on me.
You know how J-Dog has quote T-shirts? We need that from Fred. I heart Norwegian black metal. That'd be okay.
I would wear that.
We have to incorporate, or maybe we don't have to incorporate you on the shirt. We could just say I heart Norwegian, and then in tiny letters like that, BBR podcast, something like that. I don't know.
There is one band I'm trying to remember that I really liked.
You don't have a tattoo of him? You don't remember?
I do, but it's not somewhere I can see from this angle.
You have any tattoos?
I don't.
Me neither.
Paul?
Paul, you got any tattoos?
Yeah, I got a bunch.
Gunny Ink.
Yeah. Then name them off as fast as you can.
Yeah, let's go.
I got the Axis of Advance Purify logo. I
Very
got
nice.
the Brand of Sacrifice. I got a Bun Bun. I got a like an Alan Moore kind of disintegrated person.
You got a Bun Bun tattoo?
Pun Pun.
Pun Pun.
Yeah. Some manga.
Yeah, get me and Dan's faces tattooed on you.
Might have to.
Yeah. That might be good.
I got the
be
Tool
down for
Eye,
that.
the Alex Gray one. But yeah. That's all I got so far. Oh, and I got MF Doom mask and like a wizard.
Well,
Pretty dope.
the other one that I wanted to recommend to you, Dan, is so this demo originally came out under the name Natfall, Natteefall, but it got reissued under the band's new name, Mundanus Imperium. Ode to the Night Sky is the name of the EP, I guess they released it as, or just the band name Natfall is the under the demo. So they released one album after that, like a year or two later, called the Spectral Spheres Coronation, and they completely shat the bed on that. It is not a good album at all. But that demo is fantastic.
So Ode to the Night Sky is the one.
That's the one. That's the one you hear.
The one by Mundanus Imperium.
Yes. And that
Okay.
is the same thing as the demo from Natfall. It's just re-released under a different band name and different album title, but it's the same recording.
Okay, so somebody in the comments says as good as old Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah, I could see that. There's a label called Cold Winter Breeze that reissued a few older Norwegian bands. Dimnagel is one of them. They also did Vargarriket, Wolf Realm, and I can't for the life of me remember how to spell that. But that's cool, bit more controlled Vikingish black metal, and Faun, Faun. They had they exist under a few different names, but long story short, they're Vulture Lord now, and the guys in Beastcraft as well. But uh, Betrothed Unto Death was reissued by that, and it's a really weird little demo. But it's cool. It's worth listening to.
Betrothed under
So yeah,
death.
sorry.
Is that what you said? Betrothed under death?
Betrothed Unto Death.
Unto death. Okay, that's why I'm not coming up. I'm looking at a video. It says, "Speak out now for a baby deer kicked while onlookers laugh."
What?
Something has to be done about that, actually.
I'm outraged.
Yeah, the only Norwegian band I was familiar with is in the Woods. That's the only one I knew.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
I think they had an album called Art of the Ages or something.
Yeah, that's a good album.
There was another Norwegian band that I liked too. God, what were they called? I think it had Emperor members in it. I think we've talked about them before. The death metal band.
Thou Shalt
What the
Suffer?
tit were they called? I
Blood
can't
Red
think of their
Throne?
name. Huh?
Blood Red Throne?
No. God, what were they called? I can't remember what the fuck they're called. Death metal
Reincarnation?
band, Emperor.
Thou Shalt Suffer? It's a
Yes, Thou Shalt Suffer. I know, I like Thou Shalt Suffer. I remember listening to their
That's-
demo in science class.
That is one of my favorite. Like, Thou Shalt Suffer's material and Emperor's Wrath of the Tyrant is some of my favorite recordings, period, any genre.
I had I had downloaded the compilation, and I always thought that looked really cool. The In the Woods of Belial compilation.
Yeah. Yeah, that cover looks demonic. The whole thing sounds demonic, too.
It looks kind of like, it's kind of a typical picture, but somehow the way the sticks are placed, it looks very eerie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, this album's been getting a ton of attention lately because of the reissue. But you've heard Odium?
Yeah.
Sad Realm of the Stars?
Yes, I do know that one.
It is a really, really good album. I've had that since, I want to say, like 2002, 2003. And it's been one of my favorites for ever since I got it. It's just such a good album.
Yeah, and those are all. Well, I was about to say that kind of reminded me of Troll because I know that's super symphonic too.
Oh, the sci-fi black metal.
There's also, obviously, Limbonic Art. Actually, the guy from Limbonic Art, Morpheus, did the album cover for Odium. So they were related in that sense. But Tidfall, first album, Circular Supremacy, is like a super symphonic black metal album that looks... in like the early 2000s, like a lot of bands got this bizarre sci-fi kind of modern look.
Mm-hmm.
And the album doesn't sound anything like what it looks like. That's one of them. Like Nocturnal Art Productions was kind of notorious for that. They released this Tidfall album. They released what's it called? Sirius. You guys know that band?
Yes, yeah, you showed us that band from Portugal.
Yes. So like, and you look at the album covers, like, what the fuck is this? But they're actually like symphonic black metal done really well. But yeah, the Norwegian one, Circular Supremacy by Tidfall, is fantastic. It's such a good album, but it's never going to get popular. It's never going to get recognition because that album cover does not look like what people expect black metal to look like.
Well, good thing we're covering it today.
Right?
There,
and you know what?
There's
This album, I got it last year, a sealed copy on Nocturnal Art Productions, 23 fucking years old, for $3.
Ow.
Like, no one cares about this album, but it's really good. If you like Odium or Limbonic Art or Sirius, Tidfall, Circular Supremacy. The stuff that came after, not great, but that one is really good.
There was one symphonic black metal band that I liked for, I don't know, at least 10 years now. I don't know if they're popular or not. Fred, do you know who Parnassus is from
I
Sweden?
I know the name, but I couldn't tell you anything about them offhand.
They have good stuff. If you see the demo, it's called Demo 2 from 95. It's like some sort of fish god in the middle of the ocean, and it's got like 6 fish heads on a man's body. It looks awesome.
Right on.
You see that?
Yeah, that's messed up.
That's fucked up, man.
What the fuck? I like it.
Yeah, Parnassus is actually very cool.
Are the albums any good?
Yeah, all their stuff is really good. Oh,
All right.
I know this one too. I guess this is symphonic. The I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's another word for Thor's hammer. M- Mjolnir?
Mjolnir?
Yeah,
Yeah, the German band.
yeah, that band is cool. I like the
Yeah.
Magnet Vector album cover. That looks really stinky.
Oh, the guy in Parnassus is the guy from Octonomos. Okay, okay.
Yeah, they got the
From
same picture.
from
Yeah, they
Octomomos.
do.
Oh, I've heard of Octonomos, but
Yeah.
I don't remember if I've ever heard their shit. I probably have. You know how it goes. Sometimes you just forget all these informations.
Yeah, it's sensory overload.
On the
Exactly.
demiurge.
Yeah, that's a great album. That was
Dearest
also in
Ire, or
Productions.
Dias Ire. I know Jub had covered that once.
DSEA.
The
Fuck.
one with all those like medieval fucking instruments on them.
I like the
Uh,
album and album title and cover for Octonomos. It was Fuckhole Armageddon.
Yes. Yes. Classic.
Fuckhole Armageddon. Yeah, and the Earth has a big fuck hole.
Yep.
Therefore,
Oh,
you
but
can
Dan,
fuck
just
it.
because you mentioned DS Ray,
Uh-huh.
there's a Norwegian band by that name that released a single demo called Circle of Left. That one is really cool. Worth checking out.
Circle of Left. All right, now the show has devolved into Fred just kind of giving me recommendations.
Norwegian black metal recommendation. We could be here all fucking night, man. You know, the
Wow.
one that never gets their current, so many Norwegian bands current reputation has spoiled what they once were, that people just like can't take them seriously anymore. One of the most criminal ones for me is Old Man's Child, because that demo in the Shades of Life is so good, but people think of the guy who's now in Dimmu Borgir and their later albums like Vermin and Slaves of the World, and it's not representative of what they were. Just like Dimmu Borgir and just like Dark Throne, Satyricon, but I feel like Old Man's Child really gets kind of lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing with Old Man's Child too. I remember even at the time getting into them, they were always lumped in with Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah,
But I haven't heard that demo, but I have heard the Born of the Flickering, which is something that I really like.
yeah, that's a really good album too.
Yeah.
The demo got reissued on a split with Dimmu Borgir. It had their Devil's Path EP on that split along with the Old Man's Child demo. Um, so I mean, it's out there, but worth listening to. The I think it's the second track on there that I really like, Seeds of the Ancient Gods.
What about Keep of Callison? I always kind of lump that in with sort of symphonic black metal too, because I did like
Yeah,
that first
I don't know if
album.
I'd call them symphonic because there wasn't a ton of keyboard usage in there, but it's kind of a weird um, band. So they were around for a bit and then broke up and reformed with a completely different sound. And the real kind of continuation of what they used to be is Aptorian Demon, where I forget what his name is. The vocalist, in any case, he was in Keep of Callison for the early days, the demo and the two albums, And when Keep of Callison reunited, they kind of went a very behemoth kind of path, I guess. Like it was
Yeah,
very generic.
modern.
Um, but I wasn't a huge fan of the second album. I mean, I like it, but it's not anywhere close to that first album. Through Times of War is fire. That album is absolutely blistering. It's so good.
In times of war.
Shit's fire, yo.
Wait, who?
Through
Can you repeat that
through
again?
times.
Who is that?
Which one?
In times of war.
Through Times of War.
Through times of city.
That was
Keep of
their.
Callison.
Yep. That was on Avant Garde.
Yeah. This is exactly the one I was talking about. Doi.
Yeah. This is a great
This
album.
is the one that I've heard.
The
Okay,
second one,
I'll have to
Agnon,
re-listen to it.
is good too, but it doesn't come close to Times of War. The demo is, if I remember correctly, has tracks from the album. Maybe I'm wrong, but in any case, it's awesome. The demo is really good too, and I has not been properly reissued, and I feel like it never will be with the direction the band has gone in. But what can you do?
I guess somebody from I don't know if it's the main guy, but somebody from Keep of Callison is now in a band called it's the drummer. Hortum Rife. He's now doing like all instruments for Hortum Rife. I don't know if you've heard of
Oh,
that
is he?
band or not.
Yeah, I know I have. They're actually pretty good. Is he the current drummer of Keep of Callison?
It is an ex drummer.
Okay.
Is this? Let's see. What was he on? He was on.
Oh, it's Vile.
Well,
Okay.
actually, yeah,
Yeah.
he was on most of the Keep of Callison shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember this was getting really big at some point, and then it sort of just fizzled out, where nobody talks about Hortum Rife anymore, even though they have a new album.
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of people talking about the album that came out. What was it, last year? That got a lot of attention.
I feel like the last time I heard about them was during 2018. No, wait, 2017. The first album.
Oh yeah, no, I've been hearing about them constantly. The last album that came out and the one that's coming out. Did it come out last year or is it coming out this year? I don't know, but I've been hearing a lot about them lately. So it's
Yeah, one just came out in May, so
okay.
one like just came out, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, no,
got
I still still hear about
the
them.
very I would say it's like old school art, but modern at the same time. There's
Yeah,
like a
yeah, I know what I
donkey
mean.
reading a Bible, and he's got a dagger in his mouth.
So I guess speaking of newer bands, have you heard Kaivem?
Yeah, they're not too new. I've heard about them quite a while ago.
Well, no, their first album came out like over a decade ago, but they're, you know, post millennium Norwegian black metal. That's new as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Sure, I get you there. Um, yeah, I had heard Natter and then the 2013 compilation. The newest one, I know the guys from Terminus had covered that, but besides from their show, I really hadn't given it a huge listen. They kind of just
Mm.
say it's really rooted in like DSBM nowadays.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
You don't think so? You don't think it's a
No,
DSBM band at this point?
no, and I think I don't know where they're getting that from because they changed vocalist, and this guy's a bit more shrieky, and I think that's a bit more the style of DSBM. But
Yeah.
musically, no, don't agree at all.
I didn't realize this, but okay, all their album covers are of a Aryan girl. Well, except for the one with the eagle on it, the comp,
Yeah, and the
or the
EP has
falcon, whatever
a
that is.
like a totem sort of thing.
Yeah, I forgot
But
about this too. I don't think I had ever listened to that. The Natter is the one that I have spent most time with. What is that,
yeah,
2011? Yeah, okay.
that album blew me away. I still think it's one of the best black metal albums from this side of the century of the millennium.
It is
It's
a pretty good one. I know it's been shilled by a lot of people. I know the Winter Solace guy was like all over that for a lot of years.
mhm. the Chaos Ritual album. I guess it's more of an EP. Was it an album? I don't know. I can't pronounce it, but it's got this demon on it coming out of a coffin. Uh, that's really good. Um, and not a great band name, but Min Niv, which is Norwegian for my knife, uh, just released one demo that
Maniv?
Maniv, my knife,
Min Niv.
Maniv.
That was a
It's-
lazy translation.
Yeah, it's not a great band name, but that demo sounds so much like old Gorgoroth. It's awesome.
I'm looking at a I think this is a Polish band. I don't know what this is, but I came across this. I don't know how to pronounce their name. It's called Szron, Szron. Are you familiar with that, Fred?
Yes,
The
I am.
purificating flame of annihilation.
Yeah.
This has a 95 percent here in Metal Archive. It says one of the best releases 2004. Would you agree with that? Because this seems interesting. They have an intro called Beyond the Gas Chamber Door, so that's kind of cool.
You know, I listened to them a long time ago, but I haven't heard them in a very long time. I remember liking them, but I don't remember enough to confidently say how I feel about them.
Hey, wait a minute.
Uh,
Who's Human Serpent? Why does that sound familiar?
oh,
This looks like
This one?
DSBM. This looks like something I wouldn't be into.
Saran have a sick logo though.
Yo, you guys got Suicide Boys. I got Happy Days. We ain't the same, bro.
What is Suicide Boys? Is that a rap group or something? I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, it's like 3-6 Mafia, basically.
Suicide Boys, they have the dollar symbol as the S, right?
Badass.
Okay, I think I do know who that is. Just kind of like, what was that crunk core band?
Broken Side.
Yeah, Broken Side.
Hardcore.
I miss
Let's go out
Crunkcore.
tonight, bitch. We don't gotta fuck. That's funny.
Oh, I don't usually talk about things I have ordered and haven't arrived yet, but
Save that for next week.
What?
I could. It's
Nah,
tempting.
go for it.
I
Spoiler.
bought the Moonblood splits that I wanted, the Asaku split and the
Oh, the other two?
Nima split.
Asaku.
Yep. Asaku. So those are on their way, and I'm excited for those.
What did you guys think of the new Mark Graff album? Did you listen to it?
Have
You
not heard
know,
it.
I sent the link, but I didn't listen.
You didn't listen. I thought the first album was
I was-
way more interesting.
Yeah, I was
There's
just
a
too.
few cool parts. Maybe I don't know.
I was too impatient to sign in to Bandcamp on my browser rather than trying to open the link through the app.
I just waited until the fucking listening party was over because I did not want to sign in.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god!
Bandcamp on a-
Oh my god!
Bandcamp
It's
on your
out.
phone
Listen
just
to
doesn't
it.
work.
It's out. Why is it good? I don't know. I haven't listened.
Well,
to
I
it.
have the app. It's all fine, but like trying to open that particular link was only through the browser. So I was like, I'm not that invested.
Paul just doesn't care.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's cool. I got an email about it, but yeah. But you said the first one's way better. I know they
I
had like
think-
20-minute fucking songs on here.
They have one 20-minute song. That one had some cool parts in it. I don't know. I sometimes I listen to an album and I go, it's whatever. And then people are like, no, listen again. It's so good. And then maybe I'll change my opinion. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because that was like the band of New Hope for you. I remember like 2 years ago, right?
When 2020 when the first album came out,
Mm,
it's a New Hope type of band.
yeah.
But it's one of those cases where it's like, okay, this band made their mark, and now the second one is sort of doing the same thing but slightly more lackluster, even though it's been 4 years. I think. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll probably have to give it a listen again, just because they were so good originally. I thought.
Who was that other band? Oh, Horn and Hooves. That was another.
Horns and Hooves.
That was another New Hope band for you.
Yeah. That's one I forget about a lot, but actually they were really good. You didn't ever hear of them, did you, Fred?
Don't think so.
Oh no, they're really cool. It's like Motorheadish black metal, but done right and done like totally spasmodically.
Yeah, I am
Huh.
the scale messiah.
What the fuck
Yeah,
is this album cover?
you know something else I forgot to mention when I was talking about seeing Ascended Dead was during their songs. A few of them have like the sarcophago screams, and I think this is the first time that I've ever seen a death metal band or like kind of black metal adjacent extreme metal band doing the falsetto. Like, and him and the drummer do it at the same time. It was so cool to experience live. It's like shocking that happens now.
So I don't know why horns and well I guess the name, but do you guys know the band Obsidian Hooves?
I don't know. Yeah,
They
I don't know.
are.
You got me there,
Hang
Fred.
on, where are they? Where are they from? Apparently they started in California, but now they're in Mississippi. Uh,
This doesn't look
Either way,
familiar. No.
those two albums are awesome. It's like Incantation gone completely unhinged.
There's a lot of talk about these incantation clone bands, but I feel like that idea can go well if it's done interesting enough. It feels like a lot of people don't really give a shit when they're doing the incantation kind of thing. They're like heavy riff, uh,
I,
typical death
you know,
metal riff.
I don't think calling these guys Incantation worship is doing them justice. I think
I haven't heard them
Incantation is
yet.
a good starting point of comparison, but it's not full out. But look at the number of bands that the guy is in. Cave Ritual, the drummer and vocalist. Like, look at the sheer number of bands he's in. That is an ass ton of bands.
Yeah, I'll have to check these guys out. I mean, yeah, the name is pretty cool. Album covers don't totally grab me, but I'll take your word for it. And yeah, I feel like the incantation thing, like schizophrenic, could work.
The you know what, the covers are very them. It kind of stands out for them. It's like a very southern kind of feel to them. I think it's like the it's like they could be covers for Dead Horse.
Yeah, it does look like the Dead Horse cover. There was another
Or Dead Horse, great
like
band.
incantation clone band that was actually pretty cool. They were on I think Satanic Skinhead Propaganda. They were called Vasileth. Do you remember that
Yes.
from some years
Oh
ago?
my God,
That
they
was
were
actually really
awesome.
good. I think they only had one album, if I'm not mistaken. They might have another. I don't know.
One album, and they kind of like ended on an EP that came out on Profound Lore, and that was a great EP too. And then they kind of just well, no, the drummer is still around, but the other guy it kind of just vanished. I don't know where he is and what he's doing, but I think the other guy's in some other bands these days. The drummer.
Yeah, I had that fucking record. I had the actual LP. I think I sold it when I was low on funds, and I just like grabbed a bunch of Black Death stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll never listen to this shit again. But going back, I'm like, damn it, I sold a lot of fucking good records. I think I sold Vasileth. I sold one of the Proclamation records. And I don't even know what else. Bunch of crap. Because right when the time when I started buying vinyls was a time when I was actually into war metal. And at
Oh yeah.
some point, I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to this stuff. Who cares about collecting stuff? I'll just sell my shit because I need money. And then I'm looking back, I'm like, damn it, I wish I had those things just to have them.
If only you knew Fred earlier, could have talked you out of it, or
Yeah,
sold it to him.
exactly. Yeah, I could have sent
The
him all my stuff.
the latter's probably true. Yeah. Like you're
Is,
selling your stuff. Send me a list.
Oh, Fred, I think you
hopping
said
on any
yeah,
opportunity.
I think you said oh, you know who else was in that camp too? That was sort of reminded me of the had the same vibe, that Ritual Necromancy band. They kind of had that same thing going on a little bit
Oh yeah.
from Portland.
Speaking of selling me shit, Paul, that Branikald, come on.
You
Well,
can
that was
just,
mine. I just gave that to Paul.
yep,
Oh well, then Paul can just give it to me.
yeah.
Speaking of just giving things to
Brotherhood
each
of the
other,
Traveling Branikald.
Fred, you said you had like 3 copies of was it Arsenal of Glory? Is that what it was?
I do now, yeah. As of last week.
Yeah, last week I said, "Oh, you can send me one." I didn't realize I actually already have that CD.
Oh
I
yeah.
have the black one. I have the
Damn,
black
does
one.
everyone have one except for me?
Yeah, I have
So,
one.
do you have the? Is it the Vinland Wins version?
Fucking, probably. I don't know. It's the black one, the one with the black edges.
Uh, the newer reissues have that too, but I think
Let's
if you didn't get
see.
it,
Let's see.
if you didn't get
Okay,
it particularly recently,
I have the Drakkar version.
oh okay,
Yeah.
because there's
Oh wait, no, I don't. That's a fucking vinyl. What the fuck do I have? Drakkar. I must have the.
2005 Vinland Wins version, I think. Although the
Let's see.
Drakkar one's
Pull it
Yeah, yeah,
out.
2015
yeah.
too.
Pull
You're
it
right.
out.
You're right. I got Vinland.
It could be, it could be the Drakkar digipack from 2015.
They have a digipack.
Yeah.
Well, that says digital.
Then check a different one.
I only see the one from 2000 and the one from 2005. Oh,
Look
digipack.
harder.
Oh, God darn it, Fred, you're so right. I do have the digipack. What a stupid boy.
So, all right. So here's my tirade on Arsenal of Glory, and maybe I'd said this last week. I don't remember, but we're gonna do it again. The 2000 version on Sempiternal Productions cover is by far the coolest. It's a full, full color image that takes up the entire cover, and it's so much better. But the bonus tracks on that are just tracks taken from the other demos, which is fine, but those are reissued in a more comprehensive package. The Drakkar version, that as far as I'm aware, only has the Arsenal of Glory demo in it, which is fine. But the Vinland Wins version has like 5 live tracks, and as far as I know, those are not available anywhere else. So
Son of a bitch.
the Vinland Wind version is the one to get.
Yeah, I
From
have
that
the digipack.
sense.
You can
There
just send
is
that my way.
there's only one review of Arsenal of Glory on Metal Archives.
It's like the most review possible. 50%.
The title of it says, "What the fuck ever." 50%. This is in 2011 by a fellow named Nocturne. It says,
it's
"So is Argoslent a death metal band? A lot of people have suggested that it is, but I fail to see what exactly is so death metal about this music, apart from the growling vocal performance. It's definitely not the riffs, since those are all cribbed from Iron Maiden and US power metal, and it's not the drumming, since that reminds me more of Amon Amarth than actual death metal, and it's not even the song structures, which are actually pretty poppy and accessible. So what is it? Well, nothing really. Argus Lent is more of an 80s heavy metal band with somewhat
Nothing
more
really.
aggressive rhythms and vocals than anything actually death metal. Power metal fans would listen to this sort of thing and confuse it for death metal, but I'm amazed the number of people who got tricked into that. Of course, whether or not Argus Lent are death metal is fairly irrelevant to whether or not they're good. But at the same time, I harbor a weird animosity towards the band that I cannot fully understand. It's super overgrown, emperor with no clothes syndrome. I guess everyone listens to Argusland and thinks they're geniuses, even though it's every idea present in their musical form comes from someone else. That's not to say Arsenal of Glory is without its moments. Of course, the band stumbles onto some cool riffs every once in a while, but those moments are obviously lifted from other bands, and I can't really give Argusland credit for them. For real, the members of
Really?
Argusland are paying
Really?
homage, should be paying royalties to the bands they've ripped off. Really, all the material on the disc is a mad dash to combine U.S. power metal, mellow death, and melodic thrash. To give Argus Knight credit, their development and riffs are a cut above the rest, or at least it would be if there were some more interesting ideas here rather than simple pop rock. But they still leak. Let's see. But their heavy metal delivery still leaks into their cock rock solos, and I can't help listening without laughing my ass off. If you get the Vinland Wins reissue of the disc, half the tracks or releases are chopped off and favor some horribly recorded live tracks where the guitars are often easily audible in the mix. The drums are reduced to the background clatter. Let's see what else does it say here. Inaudible enough, frustrating, but the this reveals to people that Argoslant, people listening to Argoslant back in 1998 were pretty fucking dumb. While this is entirely listenable, it is still a study of style over function. Argoslant does not have any personality apart from racism. That's not taken from more interesting and irrelevant bands. I can't stop anyone from thinking these guys are geniuses, but I'll do my best. There's nothing to see here. It's adequate if you just want to hear some sweet riffs, but anyone else will find it lacking.
All right,
I
Fred,
love that
review now.
I love that he's complaining that these bands or that Argosan is flatly wearing their influences on their sleeves, and he marks them down for that reason, complaining about it. And he gave A Blaze in the Northern Sky 95%, as if that's not just a ripoff of The Return. But hey, what do I know?
Fred,
I think
review.
Fred might have won that one. Yeah, pretty epic
I mean-
stuff.
I mean, what can I say about it?
And now there
He's allowed to be wrong. I don't care.
in 2011, this Nocturne fella is he's allowed. Well, whatever Fred thinks is actually probably the truth.
It's closer to the truth.
You ever heard of this Bogside Sniper Squadron, who are like a kind of Argoslant worship thing?
What did you call me?
Yeah.
They're called Bogside Sniper Squadron.
No.
There's
I've
some
definitely
newer
never
band
heard.
off of God, what the hell? I can't remember the name of the fucking label. But there's like a band ripping
Oh
off.
wait, no, I
a
listened to
rip-off
this.
band.
I listened to this on Bandcamp. I remember this.
Yeah, it's the guys from what do you call it? From fucking Devil Master, which is actually a pretty cool band.
Uh,
Yeah, but there's now a rip-off of this rip-off band. I can't remember what they're called. They're off of they've been getting a lot of shit on Instagram. A lot of kids are talking shit about them. Can't remember what the hell it was called. It's more of this like Irish I don't know, Irish fucking patriot fucking Irish Republican Army themed music.
huh.
Oh, there's more of these. Ruby Ridge. What the fuck is Ruby Ridge?
I just love that the whole Batushka drama wound up in there being 7 different bands called Batushka on the Metal Archive. It's just
Batushka is that cool anyways.
No, I've never was a huge fan of them, but like all the trolling bands that just came out just kick me right in the funny bone. It's amazing.
Fred, you haven't
Here we
heard
go,
of this
look.
new band, have you? Ruby Ridge. They're off Vinlandic Brigade Propaganda.
No.
God, this stuff seems to be blowing up. This like worship of a worship band. It sounds like Argoslant, but it's in like raw black format, and the eye in Ridge, it has a little black sun to dot the eye.
You ever hear a band called it's French because it has an accent, but it's otherwise just spelled Regiment?
Yes. I feel like we've talked about them before.
Yeah, possible.
Is it just spelled Regiment?
Yes.
Let's see. Let's take a look at this. From France. Oh yeah. Was this good? I don't
It
remember
was.
if it was good or not.
The only complaint I had about this is that for the first half of the album, the tracks are a bit too short and don't really get into as much of it as they could. But the second half of the album has some longer tracks, and they kind of explore things a bit better, and they're great.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Let's give that a check out too. Paul, do you have
Yeah,
anything we
you'll
should
dig it.
check out?
No, not that I can think of right now.
Well, what good are you then? Jesus.
Just a big letdown. Oh, Order of the Death Head. I showed you guys earlier.
We knew about them already.
Yeah, that's kind of a class. Well, I guess they have a new album, so that's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Fine, you get a pass on that.
I think that's it.
Let's see if I can throw one in just to be slightly even with Fred, because he gave out 1 million of them. Anything cool? Let's see. Blah blah blah. What have I been listening to this week? Not much. Let's see. Nemesis from Colombia. I think since we signed the fucking ultra metal band, I've been listening to a bunch of ultra metal too.
Nemesis is really good.
Yeah, Nemesis is fucking dope. Dude, did you see that Parabellum video where they're playing in front of that huge fucking like Coliseum or whatever?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. It's like, how does a band that sounds like that get the audience looks like I don't know how many fucking people are there, but it's fucking insane. There's a shitload of people there.
I think.
Giant theater.
Am I thinking of the CD I have? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that video is on the CD I have, Tempest Mortis.
Oh, I have something here for everybody. A band from Greece called Sanctorum. You guys don't know what that is, do you?
Sanctorum?
Yeah, Sanctorum. They have a demo called Crystal Tears of Silence. It's kind of like fucking Septic Flesh, but I don't know, more exciting maybe.
I want to say Crystal Tears of Silence sounds familiar, but this doesn't look familiar. So
Yeah, it's just a little demo. It's good.
Huh. Oh, I'll have to check that out.
Fade out.
From '94. Badass.
I know this ain't a recommendation, but I was listening to the fucking Gorgon Lady Rides a Black Horse. That was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, no,
But that's just kind of a classic.
I've been going bonkers with French black metal lately.
Okay, God, if we really wanted to, we could just be here for hours and been like, hey, Fred, more
Yeah.
French. Fred, more French, more black, more of this. No.
Norway next.
All right, should we take our break and then do the thing?
Yep.
Let's take a break and do the thing.
All right. I don't have any.
All right, back in 5.
Dude, I have Oreos.
All right, we're back from our break, but we gotta cut it a little early because Terminus just dropped a new episode I gotta listen to right now. I was kidding.
But I'm still chewing.
Let's see, what did they drop here?
Diocletian review.
Diocletian, I didn't know they had a new album.
Yeah, nuclear war now.
Now! Yeah, fix it. Now! Speaking of that, I still gotta buy my Sam Hyde ticket.
Me too. That's
You didn't buy it?
No,
Oh, I thought you did.
no. That's like in 2 weeks or something. Shit.
Oh, damn, really?
Or it might be in July. I don't remember.
Because from what I remember, Diocletian had one album that I really liked. It was the 2014.
Oh, we're good. It's shit's like in June,
Oh, okay, cool.
and he has like 3 dates. Cool.
Yeah, I gotta know which one to buy.
We'll talk it over on the encrypted chat.
Yes, the encrypted chat. Is Vince not going?
Hope not.
Oh, don't say
Wow.
that.
Real stick in the mud. Just kidding.
Stick in the mud. Stick in the mud. Yeah, the 2014 Diocletian album. That was the one I liked. That one seemed to be the most technical. After that, and before that, it seems like they kind of just went the revenge route. But they had one album that was like standout, I think. The one with the night on it. I remember we listened to the intro of this album back when it came out, and you're like, nah, boring.
Drew's like, what the fuck is this shit, Dick? It's fucking sick, Dick.
Fucking sick, Dick.
I don't know. I actually like the last one. It was very revengey. But,
Yeah. I knew they were revengey, but I hadn't heard it. It only got a 62 average. Yeah, this is the one that was super revengey. I do remember this.
Such a funny word, revengey.
Revengey?
Revengey.
I can't remember what band it was that I heard an interview with. I think it was a Finnish band. The way they pronounced revenge was pretty interesting because you know how we tend to mispronounce foreign bands' names. He said, he goes, what bands do you like? What influence? He goes, Revenge. Revenge? All right.
That's their South American equivalent.
I don't remember what band said that. Revenge. Well, he rolled the R.
Sounds like Ben Gay.
Yeah, that's a trope with the Mexican Americans too. They always talk about like, oh, white people can't roll their R's. I think white people are the ones who actually roll their R's in their language, isn't it? Spanish and fucking you hear Finns fucking say that shit all the time. Revenge.
Yeah, and then you got the Estonians.
Oh, the Toropil. Fred, you've never heard of a band called Metzotol, have you?
We talk about them all the time. I don't know if you heard them yet.
I don't think I've heard them.
Yeah, they're
All right, next pick.
They're an Estonian folk metal band, and there is a really awesome. Like we saw them once. That's how I know them. We saw them with Tyr, if you remember who that is. That kind of proggy, like Vikingish metal band.
Yeah, Tyr. I know.
Yeah, Tyr. We saw them open for Tyr, and they had this guy who me and Paul's brother took a picture with, and he did was like play a bunch of ancient instruments. He played like these weird bagpipes and these strange flutes and things. And there's a video of him demonstrating what some of these instruments are, and he goes, I think it's the bagpipe looking one. He goes, "This is called the toropil." He goes, "Most people use these plugs." He goes, "But I just remove them." And then he like squints his face and goes, "Argh." It's like this weird snarl when he talks about like removing them.
It's kind of like the what's it called, Harlan Williams kind of face, but a little bit more scrunched up.
Yeah, why did he goes? I just removes them.
And then it takes like 2 seconds making that face, and then he starts playing.
Yeah. Toropil. In Metzotol, I just. You know what's another funny interview people should see? I think a lot of people probably know who this band is by now. Even J-Dog shills them. They're called Morgal. Fred, you know who that is, right? From Finland? Morgal?
Yeah, I have their last album.
I like their EP a lot. That really did something for me. It's weird because like they have the extraordinarily finished sound, like the triumphant sound, but talking to the guys like in an interview, they say like revenge and blasphemy are some of their biggest influences, which is interesting. But watch that interview; it's fucking hilarious with Rauta.
I got that album along with a bunch of other werewolf albums, and I'm pretty sure the Morrigan album was in there, and and that kind of just crushed everything else in that haul. That album's just incredible. So I should probably go back and listen to Morgal. But that shit, man, that Morrigan album. Morrigan is a fantastic band to begin with, and that album is probably the best thing they've done since like 20 years ago.
Oregon. Don't know if I know this one. Let's see. No, don't recognize that.
Really?
No, don't recognize that. I don't know that I know this band. No, I don't think I do.
You don't know more Mayhemic Truth? The one that came before?
Mayhemic Truth. Am I not looking at the right band? This is Morgan from Germany, right?
Yes, but apparently there are two from Germany.
Wait, there's another one from Germany?
Apparently, yeah.
I had to watch the clip, and he says in Metzotol, like, covers them.
Covers them. Yeah, I think I might be looking at the wrong one. Let's see. Morrigan. Germany and Germany. The other one is progressive power metal, though.
Yeah,
Can't be
definitely
right.
not that one.
I'm looking at black metal. I don't see the one you were talking about. I see Plague, Waste, and Death, Enter the Sea of Flames, Celts.
Yeah, that band.
What the hell was the name of the album? You said Mayhemic Truth?
No, Mayhemic Truth is the band they used to be before
That's
changing
okay,
names to Morgan.
Do these guys look familiar? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. Demo 96. No, but their 96 demo looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it is fucking cool.
There's some other band that like has a really similar name, and I think they have like a similar album cover with like the rocks on it. The fuck were they called? Morgana Bell. Fred, you have to know who Morgana Bell is, right?
I was thinking Blessed Death because they had Stonehenge on the front.
You know what? I think I'm doing more sensory overload. I don't think the band was called Morgana Bell. It was called. They're from Switzerland. It was a Swiss band called. God, I don't know what the fuck they were called. Something with an M. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa.
Was it Mamael?
How do you spell Mamael?
Same way as Samael, but with a S or the M instead of an S.
I don't think it was Mamael.
Think it
good,
may.
I made them up.
No, did you say you made them up?
Maybe.
Okay, well you did because yeah, there's no. I'm looking this up and it's showing like weird shit.
Fuck you, mammy.
Fuck you, mammy. What?
Okay, but more
I raised
importantly,
you better than that, boy.
you need to listen to Plague, Waste, and Death from Morrigan. That album is incredible. And
Okay.
Morgan,
the album's kind of like, to me, go down a bit from there, but then the latest one, Anwin, just like swooped it right back up. It's fantastic. But
Okay.
Mayhemic Truth, the Scythra EP is, I don't know if it's Scythra, or whatever. That EP is fucking legendary and possibly next on my to get list.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I've heard this, but let's, you know, I'm just starting my 30s, so let's get a whole new grip of great bands that I can actually remember. How's that?
Yeah, we can do that.
You know what, Fred? This does look damn familiar. I don't know that I've heard it though. I can't say, oh yeah, I know that band. Listened to them for years. But I'm looking at the fucking colored version. That looks familiar. But then again, that might be because like that band Morgion looks like that too. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I want to know the name of that damn Swiss band I'm thinking of. It's got a castle on it, like a small castle. And I think it's NSBM. It's called like Mamma Mia something.
Mamma Mia, here we go again. No, sorry.
Take a chance on me. Well, it's ABBA. Let's see, what the fuck was that called, man? I really want to know. What if I just look up Swiss black metal? Will it show up?
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I'll be here all night. Let's see. Compilation of black. I'm looking at this. God, I'm looking at this. Rate your music thread, and it's Dark Throne's Eternal Hails with the opening in the cave, but it's Rolf from Ed, Edd and Eddy popping in. It says life has many, you know where he says life has many doors, Ed boy, but here it says life has many demos, Ed boy. Man, Total Vernichtung used to be on. I know this band used to be on their similar artists, but somebody took it off. I guess they figured it wasn't good enough.
Didn't fit the bill.
Got voted down.
Makwahiedel could possibly be there. Oh god, now there's a million bands that sound like Makwa. I remember when there wasn't a million bands that sounded like Makwahiedel.
Well, what can you do?
All right, if I find that fucking band, I'll send it to you. It's a good one. I'm sure you know what it is, Fred.
I mean, maybe.
Fred,
But I mean, you're describing something with a castle on the cover. That doesn't really.
Exactly. Okay. Well, if it narrows it down, it's NSBM, it's Swiss, and it starts with an M. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's on the tip of my brain. Mengoth? Is that it?
Mengoth.
No, God, it's
Is it
God.
Menegroth?
Yes, it's Menegroth. I think. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Oh, I think Fred's got it. Fred's got it, baby. Yeah, yep. 2004. That's what I was thinking of. Menegroth.
I have not heard this.
Really? How did you know it was Menegroth?
Because you said something that sounded like Menegroth, and that's a Tolkien term.
Oh, it's a Tolkien term. See, the Tolkienisms come in handy sometimes. We can find
Yeah,
fans.
being a total fucking dork comes in handy sometimes.
Fred's got it, baby. Listen to Menegroth, Jerry.
You know what else Fred got?
This week's pick.
Exactly.
I do got this week's pick.
Why'd you sound so sassy when you said that?
I don't know. I just went.
All right, now we have to do the rest of the show kind of
I do
like
declare.
this here.
I do
I
declare.
guess so.
That's right.
Well,
So what do we have here tonight, Fred?
Well, we got. I can't. Maybe.
This is Ethel Mertz.
I don't even know what to say to that. You got me
That's
stumped.
the neighbor from fucking I Love Lucy, Ethel Mertz.
Oh man, that's a while back. Today's pick is the second album from Michigan Black. I guess Black Death. They're always been more black to me, but Lucifer's Hammer.
More Death Black. Just kidding.
You want to fight it with me?
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll fight after your intro.
Yes, but their second album, Ghosts of Fall. Nothing wrong with the first album. I just find this one to be a bit more eclectic, a bit more forward-facing, and they really pulled out all the punches for this. Although they don't seem to be satisfied with the length because they tacked on their demo as added tracks to it. But you know what? There aren't a ton of black metal albums, at least from this era,
Death metal.
prior to the Sunbathers.
That pink.
But you know what? This album pulled it off with style.
Yeah,
the
this
This album was
in,
purple, so
this in Catatonia.
this is their thing. Yeah. But yeah, this is an album that's fucking great. I figured we haven't done any classic USBM before. I thought this would be a good place to go.
You mean USDM?
You mean
We
OSDM,
are
right?
clearly going to war on this.
It is kind
but-
of war metal-ish, huh?
I heard Fred groan in pain and anger.
I'm just gonna pull a Rambler and just fuck right off right now.
He got you, bitch.
But yeah, I know the Michigan scene around the time these came out was really cool. We had like Summon, Masochist, Wind of the Black Mountains, and these guys floating around. And it's wild that these guys go back as far as 1987. Only to come out with the albums like starting 10 years later. And it looks like they were later than they actually were. But in any case, I don't know. Ghosts of Fall is a weird fucking album. They kind of just took everything but the kitchen sink approach and just see what sticks. I think for the most part, everything does stick. I remember on the title track, the operatic vocals are done a bit too much for me. But by and large, fantastic album. And a friend of mine got this for me for my birthday, actually, this past February. And he actually found a sealed copy of it. And the spine of the CD tray has a stick of incense in it. and opening that after fucking 23 years, that scent really got built up pretty good in there. So that was an aromatic experience.
So did the first time did you when you listened to it, did you burn that? Because apparently that's how it's intended to be heard.
I debated doing that, but I decided not to.
The collector in you was like, no way.
Pretty much, yeah. But
if I keep the snake skin, I'm gonna keep this incense.
Yeah.
keep the rats.
No, so I just like kept sniffing the CD tray during the first list. No, I mean,
Rats.
I'd heard it before. I've heard this for quite a while, but I
with
didn't actually have a
incense?
copy till recently. And yeah, I like this album a lot. It so much American black metal, Paul.
Wait, let me get my
rooted.
incense going.
It's rooted so deeply in death metal. So I mean, I don't blame people for calling it closer to death metal. I still see it as black metal. But I find a lot of the bands, you know, Profanica, Demon Sea, even like bands like Thornspawn, bring in a lot
USDM.
more of that death metal sound than the Scandinavian counterparts. But
Thornspawn is definitely black metal. Profanatica is death metal. Sorry. Thornspawn is black metal. Profanatica is death metal.
yeah, you're right if you said black metal twice.
No.
But
There's another band you just brought up that I was thinking. Oh, Wind of the Black Mountains. That's black
Yeah.
metal.
That was black metal
Masochist
for
is
sure.
death metal.
yes, all of the above are black metal. We've established this.
I think Demon Sea are death metal.
Yeah, but no.
Basically, I get the sort of differentiations like slightly, but in all sound wise, it's death metal, ain't it? Blasphemy is a death metal band.
These guys are for sure black and death metal.
No good.
No.
Anyways, continue,
But-
Fred.
Yeah, I know it's fucking rules. So we should listen to a track. Let's let everyone hear what we're hearing on this.
Yeah, okay.
So just to recap for everyone, this album is actually fairly short. It's like 35 minutes long. So the last half of the album is actually the band's 95 demo, Hymns to the Moon. So we are going to listen to a couple tracks from the actual album itself, and then we'll listen to a track from the demo to for comparisons purposes, and go from there. So I think the first one I picked, Land of Winds and Ghosts. Paul did Lacus Mortis. That one comes first, so maybe we'll listen
Thanks,
to that
Paul.
one
That's
first.
a good song.
Yep.
That was the one with the chugs.
Yeah.
And a fucking awesome solo at the end.
Yeah, the
But,
death metal parts.
spoiler alert.
Oh yeah.
All right. We'll be right back. we're back.
That sucked.
Man, what a track. Cause I only know these guys from that demo, the Burning Church, where they
Same
sound
here.
like
Same here.
so much more like unhinged. And I think they have the first track of that demo is one of the like backsides of this album. It's the third track, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's even from there. It sounds completely different because I guess they re-recorded it for that 1995 demo, the Hymns to the Moon. But hearing how unhinged they were, and then coming into this Pink album, they're like so much more like a studio band, basically.
Yeah, no, it's night and day, and
Yeah.
there is so much to hear in this, and I hear a lot of influence of bands like some of the more eclectic bands like Morgion, Evoke, and kind of filtering into this too, and it's such a bizarre transition from where they were to where they wound up, but it's
Because I don't
it's a
think they
beautiful
had
beautiful transition.
yeah, because I don't think they had keyboards in that demo era, at least from the Burning Church. But it's a good welcome addition here, because they use it really well. Like even all the intros for the album tracks are all played with the synth, keyboards, and they all like interweave into the intros of the song. Like I didn't even mind that the fucking song didn't like actually start until like fucking 2 minutes in, where it does like that weird tech thrash riff that keeps coming back.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't remember if they ever used keyboards during the demos at all, but whether they did or
neither
didn't
do I.
is kind of immaterial because they didn't use them the way they use them here.
Mm.
And the way they use them here is just a whole atmosphere unto itself. And we were saying that the opening bit of that track could easily be like a Cradle of Filth introduction to one of their like Dusk in Our Embrace or Cruelty and the Beast era sort of tracks, and it's true. It gives a very heavy, very gothic atmosphere. But when you do get to the actual track, there's legit riffs in there. It's not just this.
Yeah, he's not just holding down notes and shit. He's like actually going in between like these weird ass death metal riffs, and like even that tech thrash part's like he's like doing the like on the keyboard and shit. It's crazy.
And that solo at the end, just awesome.
Yeah, the solo and then that little outro. It was just like going into some fucking like techno. Yeah, it was like all great, and I think what I like most about this band or this album is their doom sections, and they had like so many just in that one song, and I think they have even more across their like each song has a section like that. Well, they just start like chugging. I know. I think it's Ancient Gods that has that section. But yeah, it's all like I love hearing doom in a non-doom record. Where there's a dynamic within the black metal and the death metal that they're pulling from here too.
But you mentioned the first track, Ancient Gods. The synth on that, the really dramatic like da da da.
Oh yeah, they're doing
da,
that in
da,
between a breakdown.
Yeah, that synth reminds me so much of the second Enslaved demo, Yggdrasil, and the track Heimdallr, the one that I think they re-recorded it for the first album. But it has a really similar kind of dramatic, sudden synths like that aren't that are very, very, I don't know, sharp, strong.
I forgot I was gonna make the comparison. It reminds me of like some like fucking comic book action, like pow, like ping,
Yeah,
ping.
yeah, it's like a Batman sound effect.
Yeah, it's like some onomatopoeias and shit.
The sound the series makes when the Batmobile is bouncing off of other cars.
Yeah, I thought like with this, I thought he was gonna stick to that one voicing, but he goes all over the place. especially during the Doom parties, like playing the bells and shit. They're like church bells, and it just works so well. Like every decision he made with the the sound that was coming out of the synth was perfect with the songs.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like for all the uh, arguing I was doing before, I don't disagree with you guys. There's a lot of death metal in this, and the riffs, I think, first and foremost, really are death metal. But for whatever reason, the end result to me just vibes really strongly of black metal, and I can't dissociate it from that. To me, this will always be a black metal album, even if I can identifiably uh, hear all this death metal influence. It just winds up coming through a black metal filter to me. Um, I think it's a really cool result of that album because there's so much going on here, and the fact that it's able to pull through into a black metal sound for me kind of really makes it stand out. I don't know.
Yeah, because I like in the demo part of this album, like I felt like there was a whole like huge shift, which there obviously was, where it sounded more bestial to me, and that's where I was kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I could see these guys kind of being like Black Death, but during their first 4 songs, I was like, man, this shit's fucking death metal, man. But then they have those just straight black metal sections throughout songs, which are sort of their like climaxes that they
hmm
use while getting out of like doom sections.
So, and to that point, and I could be just totally out to lunch here, but the fact that they've always spelled their name Lucifer's Hammer without an apostrophe, just Lucifer's Hammer, it doesn't make any grammatical sense, and I always wondered why do they do that. I think they did it on they spelled it with an apostrophe on some of the demos, but for the albums, there's very clearly no apostrophe at all. And I keep wondering if that's supposed to be an intentional reference to Witch's Hammer, who also don't have an apostrophe in their name. It's just Witch's Hammer. Um, and that's just like an idea I've been batting around in my head for as long as I've been listening to these guys, and I don't know how I can verify that because these guys aren't in any bands anymore that I'm aware of. So I don't know.
But yeah, Dan, what do you think of that track?
Well, to play off what Fred said, I was actually thinking about the hammer thing in band names too. I was thinking like, why hammer? Lucifer's hammer, Master's hammer, a Hell hammer.
Thor's
What,
Hammer,
what the word's hammer? Well, I mean that makes more sense.
Goat Hammer.
I was trying to think of like what other weapons are used in band names. Sacred Blade. Are there any other bands with the word blade in it? I don't know.
Tokyo Blade.
Tokyo Blade.
Min
Yeah.
Min Niv.
Manip.
Manev.
Oh, there's
It's
like a million
Manip.
bands with a blade in their name.
Midnight Rendezvous.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
are any of them relevant?
Quite a few.
No, not really. Okay, but
I think
yeah,
Immortal
I
Blade
guess
was.
yeah, we were sort of arguing is US BM the early stuff? Is that really just death metal? But I mean, like I'm looking at the Burning Church uh, demo, and there's a review that says one of the best black metal demos, and then right below it there's a review that says demonic death metal from Michigan. So you see what I mean? There's sort of a
That's why they got the
it's
slash.
not really a miscommunication. It's just that these bands, we've talked about it before, where like they don't exactly have a stated sound, but I think where Fred is right about is Ghost of Fall for sure has a black metal atmosphere. Yeah, it has death metal elements in it, but the feel you get, like he said in the beginning, that you get sort of the Cradle of Filth feel, and I don't mean that by like, some of the riffs do a little bit, some of the more thrashing like Absu parts, because you do have that, and I'm glad you picked this song too, because also has some of the thrashing like really blocky kind of thrash riffs that you would hear like on Enslaved. I think Fred, you compared him to Enslaved too, but you compared the keyboard, that dun dun dun. I
Yeah.
want to compare it to like the something from Eld, if you remember that. There's like a particular riff that goes. It's like a very blocky and very God, what's the word? Like not stand out, but very specific and very precise type of just just chorded riff. I think fucking Coven did a song like or had a riff like that too in that McDonald Land Massacre. You know where it's like
Hmm.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean it is eclectic and it does have a lot of weird elements to it, but the overall feel is black metal. Like I think one of the first things that I don't know if you mentioned already, Paul, but yeah, I said the first riff did sound like Nocturnus, and they kind of use the keyboards the way Nocturnus used them. They straight up incorporate those synth patches into exactly what the riffs are doing. And something that I like about what all these riffs do as well is like they they're trying their darndest not to sound like anybody else, or at least that's maybe they're not trying that hard, but it sounds like they have an identity of their own. There's you it's sort of hard to compare this to anything in particular. Like, you know, we're nitpicking a little bit with you know, a little bit of this band here, a little bit of that band here. And I think the fact that this comes out in 2001 is pretty interesting too. Um like the vocals and kind of the way that all the riffs form together, even the doomy ones, it actually reminds me of Grotesque quite a bit. And I feel
Mm.
like if Grotesque had never broken up, and existed, you know, up until 2001, it probably would have gone in this direction, because it's not only like a death metal record or this like subtle. It's a, if it is black metal, it's extremely subtle, but the all the synth work, I feel it's a very modern thing, but it also takes this into an interesting direction. Like you were saying, Paul, the burning church. You, what I don't even know what year that's from. 1994. Yeah, you really wouldn't expect a band like this to put out a Pink album that is basically almost a symphonic black metal album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking that
Yeah.
the symphonic aspect, just having the keyboard, makes it more black metal leaning. I guess
Yeah,
there's bands like, you know, Balsagoth that are death metal that have
exactly. Yeah,
keyboard
that's a good. That's a really good point.
and Nocturnus, but I think the way that they use them in particular, um, more of like an atmosphere, but also not forgetting to play along with the riffs, makes it inherently more black metal, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, the Balsagoth comparison is really good because basically Balsagoth is, I would say, a death metal band and not really even a black metal band.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
even think of any other bands that have fucking keyboards that are death metal. But I'm probably just being a fool.
Well, it's funny though that Dan mentioned that so many American black metal bands lean death. It's the other way around too. Like death metal bands lean very, very black, and I know people might think it's crazy, but to me, bands like Deicide and Incantation, they lean a lot more black metal than a lot of European death metal bands. And I mean, fuck, even Incantation. There's you know, the Death is Just the Beginning compilations that were coming out on, fuck, I think it was Nuclear Blast. Uh, they were on the third one from '94, and the booklet for that actually calls them black metal.
Hmm.
Hang on. Track 14, Incantation. Here we go. Highly extreme black metal from the United States. The trademark of this hellish outfit is the ultra-fast grindcore-like music and the occult and evil lyrics which make clear that these guys live their music. So in one paragraph, they call these guys black metal and grindcore. There's not a single mention of death metal for Incantation. Incantation in 1994. That's bonkers.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is kind of weird. I mean, death metal is, you know, a lot of people say, oh, death metal died in 1993, but then you have, you know, Incantation
I
being called black metal, or maybe even considering themselves a black metal band, as this
I
band
think it's
probably would as
bonkers
well.
today, but I don't think the lines were as clear as we draw them today
No,
because
no.
like extreme metal, even in '94, I don't think had very clear lines about what was what. And when you have extreme metal that sounds like, I mean, let's face it, black metal and death metal are not that far apart. Uh, it, it's very, it's a very slippery slope to call a black metal band a death metal band and vice versa. So I don't blame them for calling incantation black metal. I hear it. I
Yeah,
might
I
not agree
mean,
with it based on today's definitions, but I get where they're coming from.
yeah, I mean, there's like a very clear sound of what pure black metal is and maybe what pure death metal is. But when it comes to certain bands, especially like this one, there is a weird line that could be drawn. I'm looking at the similar artists here. Fred, you probably remember Demonic Christ with that Dana
Yes, Dana
Duffy.
Duffy. Yep.
Yeah, the Mythic band. Because I listened to them recently too, and there's like a shitload of chugs, and there really aren't any stereotypical black metal riffs, but it's obvious that they consider themselves to be a black metal band, even though they're. I think maybe the difference is that certain bands, not just from the U.S., but certain bands like this want their music to be still heavy metal and still like fucking head bangable, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term. Um, and then when it comes to because I'm looking at the similar artists who say something like Lord of Depression, that's not really head bangable. That's more of an atmospheric effort,
Hmm.
where Lucifer's Hammer is still an atmospheric effort, but they still want you to be like jumping around in your room listening to the record. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it does.
Yeah, I think
But
that's maybe a distinction for, and
Yeah,
maybe that has to do with like people being into one genre more and then wanting to kind of elaborate on that in their own words or something.
yeah. You're saying listening to your room. I was like that incense that came with the CDs meant to burn down your house. Gotta go crazy.
only if you live,
I go crazy.
only if you live in a
Listen to
church. But I don't know the atmosphere on this track and the album as a whole, uh, not counting the demo tracks, is
Death metal. Yep. Just kidding.
I will fight you. No, but like it's I think you said it best when it's world building. Like there's so much uh, atmosphere and so much going on this that it feels like a little microcosm of itself. And I think this happens a lot for the albums we pick on this, but when you look at something like the similar artists that are listed here, I don't think any of these really sound a lot like Lucifer's Hammer, especially on this album. Like they
None of them
kind of have their
sound
own
like
thing going.
Lucifer's Hammer, but they exude some of the same feelings.
Some elements, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but nobody really sounds like this. It's hard to compare this to something in particular because it does move a
No,
lot. It does move around a lot.
one of the bands it does remind me of at times is, um, you guys remember Thorns of the Carrion?
Yeah, the doom metal band.
Yeah, that second album, Scarlet Tapestry, that has a lot more drama, a lot more uh, synth, I guess. But it's even though the speed of the album as a whole and the general vibe isn't necessarily the same, I think there's a lot of similar elements in how they use how they actually use those keyboards and the different sounds they incorporate into it. It's a beautiful album. Scarlet Tapestry is incredible, um, but almost feels like polar opposites of a similar vein. If that makes any sense.
I think we had talked about Thorns of the Carrion like really, really early on when we started doing this, and what I mentioned about them, and I think this kind of this fits for Sacramentary Abolishment, at least with the first album, is that their sound is so raw and so heavy that it almost like overtakes a lot of the beautiful elements that are supposed or that are there, it sort of like topples them and crushes them. And even if these bands do want to like kind of exude that feeling, it's sort of toppled a little bit, and it's I think it's like they sort of, you know, what Fred says a lot too, like stream of consciousness. It just kind of goes. It kind of these bands are reaching for something farther and reaching for something beyond black and death metal. But you know, whether you can call it a black metal album, a lot of the heavier elements sometimes just yeah just take over in a sonic sort of way without taking into thought about you know, some of the feelings that are supposed to be here or are here but are sort of buried, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Shall we move on
Yes.
to the next track? This one was my pick, and it was a tough call between Ancient Gods and Land of Winds and Ghosts, but ultimately I went with Land of Winds and Ghosts, which I kind of wish we were playing the synth from the first track, because that's some pretty dramatic shit, but
Yeah.
I think overall Land is a slightly better song for me, so.
And I'll say, while I was looking at the similar artists, I found the band that I mixed up with Lunatic Invasion. It's a Traumatic Voyage. Where
Oh,
the
that's the
guy,
one with the really goofy looking logo, right?
I guess so. It looks alright. Has some blood.
I remember it sort of looks like it's out of place for the album.
Yeah, one has like
I'm thinking
church
of the one
steeples and
Traumatic.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Traumatic and Traumatized and Trauma. And I think after that, that's when his wife started being in the band.
Oh, okay. Oh, I remember the second album too. This band was probably pretty cool. I just have to probably have to check this out again.
And then that's why I think I confused it with Traumatized, because that the second Lunatic Invasion album kind of reminded me of that.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, got to the bottom of that.
Gotcha. Good, good. I'm glad we can get to the bottom of things. Got to the bottom of whatever that band was called. More Menegroth. There you go.
Menegroth, yeah.
But then again, like, how the fuck does this band sound like Lucifer's Hammer on this album? They don't.
Do they not? I could have sworn they are something similar. No.
I don't know. I probably gotta listen back, but I didn't get any, like, that didn't spark in my head when I heard it, when I heard this. But Land of Wind and Ghosts, right?
That's the one.
Correctus.
Alright. We'll be right back. We're back, and
That ruled.
of course it did. It had the sexy vocal, it
Yeah.
had the chugs, had that excellent ending, dun, and it was the most black metal track.
It sure was.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Fred was right. Well, I said that main riff, that that it's so simplistic, and this is 2001, so that riff could have been done a million times. But the way this song is composed with that riff in it, it like I don't know, man. It just makes it so exciting. I said it reminded me of Excrement, who is like always in my mind. But
living there
I
rent
think
free.
that kind of makes sense. It's like you get that sort of exciting black metal riff, but with the it's not really death metal vocals behind it, but it sort of exudes the same energy. And what that is, that's also like Fred was saying that Bathory is mentioned in the thanks list along with a bunch of like I don't know Black Death and other death metal bands and things. But that riff also sounds like an extremely sped up like Bathory riff from maybe The Return or something
Yep.
like that. Um, I guess what the hell else is going on in that riff? You even have some like weird death metal things going on in there, like those little tail ends of like no 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 no, you know, and you have a lot of chug fucking tail end of things, junk junk, and then you get
Yeah, they like get like real like percussive like death metal instincts on the tail ends of their even black metal riffs.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You know, when it comes to stuff like this, or when it comes to like anything we pick, I feel like I never know when Paul's gonna like it or not because I mean Paul said this before where I'm like, oh, you're not gonna like this, but then he ends up liking it. I guess listening to this track with you guys, it's not surprising that Paul does like this because I can imagine a young, brutal death metal version of Paul would probably like this if you showed it to him back then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, Fred likes brutal death metal. This is like
It
bestial
sort of gets
brutal death
brutal, doesn't
metal.
it?
Yeah,
I just love how so many of these American bands couldn't decide whether they're landing on the black metal or death metal side, and just kind of wind up landing in some bizarre area in the middle.
I
And
think that's
like,
perfect. This
yeah,
band
no, it's
works so well as a black like calling them Black Death makes so
yeah,
much sense.
it does, and there were so many of them in the U.S. scene. Like these guys, Equinox, like remember Insanity? That was a wild band too.
Yeah, that band is cool. I don't know who Equinox is though. I don't think.
Uh, not as good as the other two, so I mean, give them listen, but
Insanity is cool. I always
Return
thought
to
of them as
Mystery
a
is a cool
as
album,
a
but
death metal band as well, though.
yeah, but there's a lot of black metal in there, man. There's a lot of black metal in
You know what's a
Binding
weird
Composition.
case of that? I don't know if I brought this up with something else, but I was recently listening to the first Belphegor album, and that,
Oh
if you
yeah,
guys
Last
remember what
Supper.
that sounds like, there's a ton of second wave black metal riffs, but with like straight up brutal death metal vocals over it. It's just an interesting mix of things, and they do it much better than they did in the future on the first album at least.
Yeah. Well, the second album was really good too, Blood Sabbath.
Yeah, dude,
And
I've never
I
heard that one.
remember a track on there. I think it was. I'm just looking at the track list here. I think it was Blackest Ecstasy. That was total Scandinavian black metal riffing. It was a cool album.
Did they
I
still
wish I.
keep the like brutal death metal vocals?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting mix of things. I mean, I feel like, we talked about Molested earlier. I feel like they sort of fall into this as well. Where like you could call that either. I mean, it is death metal, but at the same time, those riffs are so strangely melodic in like dissonant ways that it really could just be amorphous. Like it could be either or.
Yeah.
and but
Yeah. No, it walks
Fred,
that line really well.
this second album has a cover, and we know how you feel about that. So, how's it lay with this album?
Sorry, the second what?
Oh, I said that this has a cover, and we know that how you feel about it, but how do you feel about this one? Because it's kind of like on the tail end of a release, and then going into a second release.
Yeah, I'm okay with it being here. Like my general rule is I don't like covers being in the middle of the album. This is the end of the album, and then you have the demo tracks as bonus, right? So it doesn't really bother me that it's placed here, because that's a break between the two, regardless. Um, I think it's a really well done track, well done cover. I think their cover on the first album, "Enter the Internal Fire" from Bathory, was uh, a better rendition of the original track compared to this one, but still, for the Usurper, really good cover. They did it well.
Yeah, I think it works really well with like it kind of makes sense when you
Yeah.
hear that cover. I at first I didn't realize what it was, and I'm like, oh, okay, that actually makes total fucking sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a man. They had some weird fucking rhythms there.
And you know what?
But
If anything, it actually kind of leads you into the demo portion of this release really well, because the Usurper, as good as their rendition is in terms of making it in their own style, it is still a simpler track than anything else that you see on here.
Yeah.
And that kind of flows into their demo, which is by comparison very raw and very. I'm not going to use the word simplistic in a demeaning way, but it is much more straightforward Black Death as opposed to the more eclectic approach they took on the new material that was on here.
yeah, I didn't even realize that when I was first listening to this album, I didn't realize that those were demo songs. Um, I had never even heard of those demos, and I think Paul, Paul, you're familiar with this band before this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I knew the
But
Burning Church.
had you ever even heard of those other two demos from 94 and 95? I fucking had never heard of them before. Never heard anybody bring them up before.
No, just the
I think they
Burning
fit,
Church.
though. Yeah, just the burning church and the. Well, I did hear the first album. I don't know which comes first though. Did the demos come after that?
The demos came
No, no.
first.
Oh, really?
Demos and then 2 albums and then they split.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because I only
Yeah.
listened to that demo, and then yeah, I just never checked out the albums, and I fucked up.
I thought the demos. I thought the latter half of this is pretty damn good. I'd never fucking heard anybody talk about those demos before, and
Yeah,
I like them. I thought it was just more of the. I just thought the album kind of shifted.
yeah. I
But
thought it was like a
it
whole.
does shift.
It was like a whole different production. Like the drums sound much thinner on the like actual album, but on these demos they sound a bit beefier to me. And I think if they would have, reinforced that on there, it would have made it more of a case for being like death metal. But it definitely is more black metal with that sort of drum production, especially just like the snare, because when you hear it on here on the demo tracks, it's much heavier, and like I think they even do like kind of like a gravity kind of blast too in some of the songs, like Dark Tower,
Yeah.
and they chug way more, like it's
Oh.
crazy.
Yeah. Well,
But which one do we want to do here? Do we want to
should
do
we play
Dark
one of those
Tower
then?
or
The one you picked, the Garden of Solitude.
Garden of Solitude?
Yeah.
That's a fine
Okay.
track.
All right. Yeah, Garden of Solitude. We'll be right back.
on the side, soaring within this space.
Alright, we're back from listening to The Guardian of Solitude.
Yeah, Grotesque called. They wanted their riff back. But yeah, no, total
Different
Grotesque
band.
vibes for me on that. Different band, but you can see how they got
Yeah.
where they wound up from this. Like,
They just
it's,
got better.
I
They just
thought
got better and
Grotesque even
better.
from the first. I
Yeah.
thought Grotesque even from the first song on the album.
yeah. But
Something I
think it was
forgot
more
to.
evident here.
Yeah, definitely. Something I did forget to mention. On the first album, I think it was the first song that we played, which was the Lacus Mortis. They do a solo during one of these Doom passages that sounds like Morbid Angel, like wild fucking
Oh yeah, the
kind of.
second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then and then later they do another solo that sounds like something from the Awakener from Cataclysm. So you kind
Yeah.
of get two two types of solos that are really terrific, and neither of them are shred solos. So what does that say?
And then they got the the Celtic Frost solo too. That was like a totally different styling from what they were playing in their originals.
yeah.
So these guys can shred.
Yeah, I don't know if I've brought this up on the show ever before, but that riff that Fred compared to Grotesque, that also reminds me of something that Belial would do on the Wisdom of Darkness EP.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could see that.
And
Which
doesn't go ahead.
I was just gonna say like that's like one of the first instances of Black Death that I think I've ever heard was Belial, and being aware of it.
Yeah. I was gonna say the tone on this demo, I just hear more like war metal, like that's where I understood that this was like, I don't know, it came off to me as like bestial, with like how much more unhinged and like the faster the drumming was, and just for sure that tone. Like I just hear like war metal for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to compare it, for whatever reason, I keep wanting to compare this to like Finnish stuff. That first riff is so atmospheric. It totally reminds me of the early Amorphous and like Abhorrence. I think Abhorrence probably has a riff that sounds a lot like that. I mean, at that point, I always felt that Abhorrence's first demo. Well, I think is that the only one? No, no, no. This whatever vulgar necrolatry. I think that actually might be the second one. Um, I always felt like yeah, it's a death metal release, but at the same time, it's so much more atmospheric than any American bands usually do. And I guess that's what kind of brings this U.S. black metal sound with the usual suspects like Demon Sea and Vaughn and to a certain extent fucking Deicide. Um, but yeah, I always really like that sort of atmospheric feel in death metal, whether you want to call it Black Death or whatever you like. But yeah, I always just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and then in this track, and I believe one of the other ones we listened to, they do that single string like acoustic guitar black metal technique, and it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's like a perfect progression from where they were at. And I know Dan doesn't like that stuff. I'm not too fond of it either. But yeah, they did it really well here, and it was another welcome development in their songs.
Yeah.
Dude, I
even
guess I
the
would say
even the introduction of this one didn't feel overlong.
Yeah,
They still had the world building elements. It wasn't as complex and as developed as it is on the
yeah.
second album.
Structurally, it was going like A B C D or something like that. Structurally,
yeah, but it still works.
yeah, they had good parts there. They weren't. It didn't seem like filler or anything. It was all stuff that sounded sick to them, and they put it together, and it works.
Well,
Yeah.
it's an afterthought that works with the music. It's not just kind of thrown in there randomly. I think what you were talking about, Paul, me not liking acoustic sections like that. I don't like them when the whole song stops and it's an acoustic section
Oh
and then
yeah,
it comes back in randomly. I guess with this, it doesn't stop. Like I said, it really seems like the acoustic shit is an afterthought, and an afterthought that works. That actually works. The music doesn't suffer at all from it. It
oh, I
builds
see what you
more of
mean.
that
They're like, oh,
it
let's throw
builds more of
this.
the atmospheric kind of feel here.
Yeah, they're like, let's throw this layer on instead of like, no, let's have a whole section like this.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with layers at all. That's why these keyboards aren't bothering me. That's why these intros aren't bothering me. Um, Nothing like that is off-putting to me. The only time something like that is off-putting is when it interrupts a song, or when it feels like a band doesn't fully have doesn't have their songwriting in completion, where it's like, well, I don't know what to do. We're in the studio. Let's just throw in this
Throw this
part, and
in.
then I guess we'll just start over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain cases where I'm cool with that, with like maybe let's say like Panthymonium or another band I brought on a long time ago, that Codex Gigas. If you guys remember
Mm,
that had some pretty
yeah.
random parts in it. Um, not I feel like even with those things, you sort of expect it, and with this band, it is sort of expected too. But yeah, I think fans of black metal probably will be more interested in this rather than death metal guys. I almost feel like death metal guys will kind of just turn this off. Is that the vibe you guys kind of get with this? Because I've never really heard anybody talk about Ghosts of Fall before, besides Fred. He's the one. I remember I brought up Lucifer's Hammer, and Fred's like, "Oh, you heard Ghosts of Fall?" I'm like, "No, never delved that deep."
Now, even with the like recent reissues that came out on Frost and Fire and Nuclear War now, it's the demos and not the albums. And I don't
Yeah,
think the
yeah,
albums have seen any like recent reissues of any capacity. And
yeah. Well,
it's too
it's the
bad because
ultimate
like
form
the
of the band. It seems like, right?
well, that's the thing. And like the demos that we hear getting reissued, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they're not nearly as unique as what they did after. And this might be a bit more polarizing,
Oh,
but
definitely. Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, this is Lucifer's Hammer. This is what they developed into, and this is where they kind of perfected what they were aiming for. And the sound, the aesthetic, um, the atmosphere is so unique to them. They pulled it off so well, and
Well, you
it's
can hear it. You can hear it here.
yeah.
I mean, this is a demo track, but it it seems to like precede the primitive vibe that Nuclear War Now and most fans of metal will usually be into. This
Mm.
kind of has like an almost a feel like you had to be there. It comes from that era too. It's like, oh, 2001, you just had to be there. Whereas now most people are like, oh, I just want to hear the demos, and oh yeah, they kind of went atmospheric on this later album. Who gives a shit? That's almost the vibe I imagine people getting from this.
I feel
Yeah.
like the vibe here is it's totally like this shit should have came out with like in like from the UK. Like it reminds me just like off the aesthetics, like Decompose and stuff like that, and even again their doom sections, which are what really stands out to me for this band. It's reminiscent of those the Peaceville bands, and
Yeah, well, they do. Well, Fred said they do give thanks to My Dying
yeah,
Bride, but at the same time, they also give thanks to Bestial Warlust.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
and
you know,
Mortician.
well, I said during when we were listening, it's like, oh well, these guys, all the thank yous that they use. It's like these guys are metalheads. They actually see what's going on, and despite all that, they chose to put all these keyboards and put the female vocals and mm, allow this to be slow, and also allow their album cover to be pink, and allow this
Yeah.
album title, with all the knowledge of the like whoa kind of metal shit coming out, they're still able to make a very cool, like, exciting album, but still let it just be the Ghost of Fall.
But the album covers work really well just together. They almost like they tell a story themselves. The first album is the forest in
Yeah,
at
like in
night.
Twilight.
Yeah, and then the second album is the sun rising into the top of the trees. There's cohesion in what they're doing between the two albums, and it's awesome.
Oh man, how can you do my band like this on the compilation? Looks like
What
any
did they
other
do?
artwork.
They give shitty artwork.
And it's just a black and white drawing.
Let's see.
Oh, on
And they
the
have the
newest collab that came
apostrophe
out.
in that logo.
Honestly,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
that
from
that artwork is not that cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what? I
that's
would
the
rather have.
that's the cover of the demo though. There's uses the same
Yeah, I
thing.
think that's their first demo.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, oh, okay, this is just a compilation of their demos and some live
Yeah.
shit. It's like, damn, they don't have the fucking albums.
Paul, do you
No,
remember
the
what the album cover looks like for Epic Forest by Rare Bird?
Yeah.
Reminds me of that. Check that out, Fred. I know that's not like it's not one of our usual bands. It's like a 70s kind of
You can look that up on the Prague archives.
it reminds me of that sort of.
oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
It's not totally proggy because I know Rare Bird we've talked about before where like their first two albums are mostly keyboard driven, like there aren't any guitars. I think this is their first album with guitars. And it rocks, but not in a hard rock kind of way. It rocks as hard as a soft rock album can rock. If that makes sense.
It rocks soft.
Yeah, dude. Dude, Fred, I think you would actually really dig this album, this Epic Forest album here. I know I'm going off a little bit, but
I
yeah,
mean,
I would recommend that to
the
you for whatever
the
reason.
cover is like three trees. Three trees do not an epic forest make. So already it's off to a bad start.
It's just the trees. You can't see the forest from them.
See what you did there.
I see some more trees in the distance, though, homie.
So sounds like epic field. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Epic nature.
You got to check it out. I think you'll actually dig it.
Oh, the
It's
Devil's
a,
High
it's a, it's
Concern,
a.
man. Forgot about
Oh
that
well,
one.
yeah. Well, that's before. That's like a single. That song is cool though, man.
Yeah.
Somehow that song reminds me of like something Judas Priest would do if they were a prog rock band.
Boom, 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 boom.
In the dark green velvet passage, there's a picture of a queen. Doo-doo-doo.
Great song.
Surrounded by 100,000 eyes. Gotta send that to Fred. The Devil's High Concern. If there's any,
Yeah.
see, this is a prog rock song that freaking actually rocks.
I'm willing to give everything a listen.
It's true. Fred said that before.
Hey, listen to Ramlord. Half of it.
Hey, check out Ramlord.
No, I listened to the whole thing because my pick was the last track. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Damn, Black Metal Guy really tore that one a new bunghole.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like that one
I don't like it.
like I said, if it was playing in the background, I wouldn't complain, but I definitely wouldn't reach for it myself. It was like
I thought the
Ride for
conclusion-
Revenge. It was like Ride for Revenge with all the interesting things taken out.
I thought the conclusion was that you were gonna turn it off.
No, I turned the podcast off.
Yeah, he did. He just left. Fred, real quick, speaking of Ride for Revenge, I noticed I don't know why I have this actually, but I have a CD of a Ride for Revenge side project called Flooded Church of Asmodeus. Do you know what that is?
I know of them. I'm not sure I've ever listened to it, but I know them in relation to Ride for Revenge, yeah.
Dude, I'm not sure that I've ever listened to him either, but I have the CD. I think that's just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to fucking put that on in the car and be
No,
like,
you
oh,
showed me the
let's see.
he showed me the yellow one at least.
I did.
Piss soaked church of the wrong.
Oh man. See, that's the sensory overload. I can't remember what I even have or what I've listened to. I'll have to go back and listen to that.
You'll
I
be
started
like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I started to like grab stuff out of my collection to just put in the car, and I barely started. I'm at the A's, so I went on the Abomination demos, which is good from 88 and 89, and then the next one I grabbed was a Dramalek, who I believe are from Italy, Italian power metal band. They got riffs.
Badass.
I don't know if Paul's familiar with a Dramalek from Italy.
They're the like Doom one, right?
No, they're like kind of proggy, power metal. They're like Symphony X, but what Symphony X would sound like if they were really old. They're good. I really like old power prog. Let's see, a Dramelek. Yeah, here. Oh no, I'm spelling it wrong. It's with an E. Adremelec. I think. No? Why can't I find them? Oh, here they are. Italy. Progressive power heavy metal. Yeah, I have the 1988 Ire Melanox. One of a kind epoch from the catacombs of a lost cathedral. There you go. It's cathedral power metal, but progressive. It's cool.
I'll check that out.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a review from 2008. It just is fucking epic.
Take the word for it.
Take a word, take a chance. I still haven't seen a reply from Sunshine Ward. But then again, I invited him on the show a year ago. But I did get back to it last night, and I'm like, well, I usually give them 2 weeks in advance because it's like we need the 2 weeks. You see, because after tonight we'd be like, well, what are we doing? I go, I don't know. So at least I have a backup. I don't want to say who it is yet because we won't. I guess the listeners won't know yet. I like to keep everything a surprise, somewhat.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the guest
Keep 'em on-
episodes are a little bit surprising. Did anybody
on their
expect
toes.
Joe from Obscene Liar? I don't think so. Did anybody know who Obscene Liar was?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Hey, I don't think so, pal. What did you write in the description here, Paul? You wrote, "We discuss our interests in prog rock, Demis Roussos, aka Dan's real dad."
Sorry, Dave.
Dave?
But should we get into the last thoughts of this release?
I think
Hold on a
so.
sec. Fred, have
What?
you ever seen Demis Roussos? You know what he looks like?
Who?
Demis Roussos. We talked about him on Joe's episode.
I don't know that I've seen him.
Look him up on Google.
How do you spell the name?
Demis Roussos.
Well, that's some hair.
Now look at pick up Daniel, and you'll get the connection.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he's wearing like dresses and things.
Well, I mean, you could do that.
Yeah, I could do that. I just shaved my beard, but I can grow it back. I'm actually in the process of growing it back as we speak.
Aren't we all?
Yes.
I'm growing
All
my
right, should
beard
we
right
just
now.
grow it? Well, dude, you know what happened to me? All my hair and my beard like turned white. Not all of it, but like a lot of it. Like in a fucking span of like a year and a half. How'd that happen?
Age. Yeah, I've been there. Don't worry. Fucking
You got white
sucks.
hair in the beard?
Uh,
Yeah, even
Yeah.
John's got white hair.
I mean,
I wouldn't
all things said and done, I'm not too bad, but I have friends that look a lot older.
Fred looking good. The
Hell yeah.
what's salt and pepper daddy?
What the?
Wow.
Where did you come up with that?
Is Paul hitting on me?
I wouldn't put it past him.
No, me either, man.
The silver fox.
Damn.
Silver fox, or the hat from SpongeBob, Foxy Grandpa. Foxy Grandpa.
Last thoughts? Go Dan.
Wait, are we on the last thoughts or the last track?
Last
We only had
thoughts.
3.
That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, last
That
thoughts.
was it.
Okay. Well, who's got the first last thoughts?
Dan, go.
Hold on. Let me
him-
sit in my chair properly.
He has to compose
Let me-
himself.
Let me sit up.
Exactly. Let me crack my back and my neck, my arthritic neck, and take a sip.
Massage the brain.
We'll be here for a while.
Yeah, because I have a big brain, dog.
Getting the wrinkles.
Yeah, dude. I 2001. It's a really interesting year for when this comes out. And I think the fact that you know, this is a known band, but this album isn't talked about, and I don't think anybody, like, not a whole lot of people give a shit about it. I mean,
Mm.
they had to release it themselves as an independent release. Um, but it's got a really cool atmosphere to it. I for whatever reason, I immediately thought this reminds me of Cradle of Filth for whatever reason, but in a good way. I am not a Cradle of Filth hater. I think they have some cool shit, and I think any real black metal guy would enjoy like the early Cradle of Filth shit because it's actually pretty sick. They have at least 2 or 3 good albums, right? Maybe even 4.
Mm.
The only thing about the album that it I don't know, I don't want to say it lacks, but it sort of misses some of the shit that the demo offers, like the like grotesque Belial kind of riffing. But maybe it doesn't need it. Maybe that's been done because they've been kind of doing that riff since the demos. Um, what I do like about this album is that there's still a ton of chugs, and they still kind of keep you on your toes with the progressive elements, and they kind of implement the keyboards into that as well,
Mm.
without without just using it as a background. I mean, it works good as kind of a layered thing in on the later tracks, but on the first tracks, it's sort of it is like Fred said, it's totally world building, and yeah, I think this band kind of came into who they really were or who they really wanted to be on this last album with what I don't know 5 or 6 tracks on the first half. Yeah, I think everyone should listen to it. It's a symphonic Black Death album. It's USBM. It's all the stuff you love. It's it's got a lot of the Demoncy stuff. It's got a lot, not really Vaughn. It's got a lot of the it even has like sacramental abolishment shit, like Paul said.
Yeah, the
But
Doom sections for sure.
it's kind of got its own thing going on. It's like there are still elements, it is 2001, and there are still elements of like kind of slamming death metal, but symphonic, and in a way that you could just be like, oh, this is a black metal band. So I suppose it is very unique in that respect. And yeah, listen to the rest of the songs that we didn't check out because I would recommend it. I think we all me and Paul like unanimously like this one. This is a first listen for both of us. So yeah, I was happy Fred brought this on here. Another maybe I have to take a look actually because I've said before, oh, Fred's had some really good ones that, oh, this one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. This actually now might be my favorite of Fred's picks.
This
This
tops
is
Black
better.
Shepherd.
Maybe not. Very close though. It tops Astaroth, and
Okay,
I did
okay.
like Astaroth, but this tops it. So it's right behind Black Shepherd. Fred is inching closer towards
Perfection.
absolute perfection. No, this album is perfection, but absolute perfection is hard to come by.
Mm.
So yeah, that those are my thoughts here.
Paul, go.
And Pogo.
All right, so with this one, I'm familiar with the demo, which sounds completely different, and even from their next demo, the only one I heard was Burning Church, but when they included the I think 4 tracks from Hymn of the Moon or To the Moon on this release, that one even sounds completely different from the
Bam
previous
boom,
one.
straight to the moon.
And then moving on to the album I listened to this week, the first one, that one was just way more death metal. But then when I heard this one, it gives me a whole different atmosphere and vibe. I for sure see this as a black metal release, but it does have a lot of like death doom and death metal parts that, like Fred said, it has like the veneer of black metal where you can't really tell what it's actually is. It just has both of those parts playing at the same time in their own unique way. and like I think I found one of my favorite like emotional solos was in that second track, because I think he only played less than like 20 or 30 notes, and it was just like so impactful. And you know, instead of going and shredding all around, which they can do, but with each release that they had, it seemed like there was no keyboard being integrated, and then you know soon just being like a sort of layer of atmosphere, sort of growing more into intertwining with the riff, sort of like on a nocturnus sort of way, like Daniel said, where it's like actually copying the riffs and adding a different layer and texture to it. And then the vocals on here are just so fierce, and I was reading along with the lyrics here too, and they're actually pretty good, telling some stories. And then the goth vocals, the sexy lady vocals, they all fit. It was a little jarring at first to hear the first dun dun, the fucking comic book sounds, but you know, if you've heard it on a bunch of other releases, so it's welcome here too. And yeah, Fred, this is probably one of my favorites that you've done. Definitely
God damn.
top three for sure.
All right. I'm on a real upswing here. I better not fuck up.
No, you're good. You got all the colors in the palette too, with Twilight Moon. Now you got a pink one.
And you know the fact that it's got a pink cover actually is one of the things that drew me to this band to begin with, and that's
It
I,
looks
I, I
cool.
like bands where you can hear the influences that they've pulled here and there, but at the end of the day, it sounds like, you know what, fuck it, we're just gonna do our own thing, and this sounds like they just did their own thing, and it's really exemplified on the albums. And I'm usually the kind of guy who'd be like, you know, give me the raw, dirty stuff, like the demos.
Yeah,
And that's usually the case because the albums oftentimes are just an extension of those raw demos, but just cleaned up more. Not so the case here. The albums are truly just entities of their own. They developed these so much that the demo versions of the band and the album version, it's not even the same thing. Um, and everything about this, the production, the aesthetic, the songwriting, the choice and uh, atmosphere they use for the tracks, throwing in female operatic vocals even on one of the tracks we didn't even hear. Um, it's it's a sound of their own. There aren't any other USBM bands that really come close to everything they threw into these albums, especially Ghosts of Fall. Um, so it's a standout in terms of uniqueness for me, and it just so happens to also be really fucking good at the same time. Um, like I said, there are bands that might approximate a similar sound. Like I said, maybe Equinox or Demon Sea, but they don't have the diversity that these guys brought into their albums. So, insofar as USBM, and I'm going to stick to USBM because to me, this, despite the riffing, despite anything that leans it towards black or towards death metal, the vibes comes back to black metal for me, and that's where it's always going to stay. So these guys will always be USBM to me, and insofar as USBM, these guys are clearly near the top for me, right up there with Profanatica's legendary stuff and so forth. So, no, awesome album. Everyone should check it out, and I hope everyone has enjoyed hearing these tracks, and we'll check out the rest of them, and has just generally enjoyed our name dropping episode because that's kind of what this turned into. And I think that's a
Big
lot of
phone
fun.
call.
hmm
Yeah, we should do that more often. I enjoy just,
we'll pick
you know,
another region.
bring up the random bands that come to mind when you think of an area and just be like, these guys are awesome.
It happens every once in a while, and when it does, it's sort of an endless slew. Mostly from Fred, but we can all
That's why we keep
come
him
up
around.
with our own stuff. I do like the fucking Ghost of Fall. It still retains that metal feel, even though it's got all this stuff going on. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it smells good. Remember.
Yeah, crack open an incense.
I give you some